Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine Tuesday? Oh, we're back again. As you saw from the title, we are going to have to talk about, oh man, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because, um, I shouldn't have did this live. I guess I should have just did it where I could do an edit because sometimes it's hard to talk about things because you can kind of like live hear, read whatever the comment section in your mind. And it's like, I do know what some of y'all are gonna say, and that's why I hesitated making the video, and that's also I'm just closing some of these things that are making my thing lag. Um, I don't know. I mean, I can already hear what some of y'all are gonna say, and also like I have a personal little bit of a okay, I'll just get to it. So there have been some discrepancies. There have been some discrepancies in some of the stories is specifically concerning the facts, the facts alleged in some of these victims, alleged people alleging to be Diddy victims, right? Specifically women. Maybe men too, but the ones I'm talking about today are women because we're going to talk about some other stuff, but this is where I want to start. Now, there are many reasons why the factual details of people's story could differ. Okay. And some of the reasons are like good faith and there's good excuses or good reasons, right? So, for example, if something happened 20 years ago, you could really believe that you're remembering it a certain, the right way. But really, you're just not remembering it correctly. And it's because so much time has passed. And every time you think about the memory, maybe it gets kind of categorized as something else, right? This is what I'm talking about right now is neuroscience. Like it's neurological, like studies they've done. They've shown like how people can have like the longer the time goes by, sometimes the memories can get kind of like corrupted like a file. Now, I'm not a neuroscientist, so don't take my word for it, but that's, my understanding. Please do go do the research. It's all out there in the world for free. So that's one example, right? That's one example of why, somebody could genuinely, even in their heart, in their intention, in their mind, believe they're telling the truth. It's happened to me. It's happened to you, where it's like you just could swear it was a blue car, but really you're looking at the picture and it's red or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it happens. Now there's other reasons why people's stories could be their stories could be not lining up with what actually happened, or maybe two people's versions could be different, right? There's many reasons. Some of it people are saying trauma. Yes, of course. Trauma, even without trauma though, y'all. That's what I'm trying to say. Even without any of it, right? Memory is faulty. It is. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you could be in the middle of a trauma and you remember every single smell, everything, everything. And sometimes you don't remember anything, right? So it's just, I mean, who knows? I'm not a doctor. Okay. But what I will say is, and I'm talking generally here, sometimes people lie on purpose. Sometimes people lie for good reasons. Sometimes people lie for bad reasons. Sometimes people have excuses, but they're telling you the not truth. They know it ain't the truth and it's on purpose. Okay. Now, there have been allegations. There have been allegations flying to and fro across the internet. And I have endeavored for the last 2 straight days to stay out of it. But there's been allegations flying across the internet that 2 women purporting to be Diddy victims are lying. People have been alleging that about these women. And even just I don't know, maybe they got me programmed, or maybe it's truly how I feel. I don't know. But I'll tell you, whenever I hear somebody referring to somebody that's saying, I've been trying to get my story out. I've been scared for my life. I'm a Diddy victim. Here's pictures of me there. I'm suing them. It almost strikes me as like just so wrong to call somebody a liar who's out here saying their story like that, right? And especially, I read Adria's lawsuit. Adria English. I read her lawsuit on my channel. I covered it. She's one of them. She's one of the people. And Misha. Misha, who was formerly a Jane Doe, is another one. Um, they know each other and they're friends and they have met each other before. Um, excuse me, and they met each other a long time ago, apparently in 2004. So I don't because I find the lawsuit that Adria filed or had filed with a lawyer or whatever. I found it to be credible. If I'm remembering correctly, she did have pictures. She said that they were taking pictures of her at this white party that she didn't realize were for a magazine publication. They ended up in Vibe magazine. She didn't even know that at the time, she says in her lawsuit. She says that after she went to so many Diddy parties, that then she was graduated from the white uniform or the white outfit into the black outfit, and then that was whenever the um more intense, interactions would then occur, and it meant that you were a S worker or S available, whatever. And she said in her lawsuit, Adrian English did, that if I remember correctly, right? I mean, I've read like 30 of these things, so it does all kind of blur. So I'm doing this live. The lawsuit is public. Maybe we will look through it. I have sent the link to this video to several other content creators who I know who are my friends, because we're going to also talk about the whole issue of like money and offering people money or paying people money just simply to appear on your YouTube channel. I have thoughts and opinions on that, but I want to save that to not this part of the video. But yeah, I don't know how long we'll be here. I don't know where this will turn. I also just want to let y'all know I did just release merch. We can talk more about that later too, but I did want to at least put the little announcement. Yes, the link is out for y'all asking. Okay. So Adria, if I'm remembering correctly, this is the lawsuit where her boyfriend at the time, she was a model, he was a model. She was up and coming. They were living in, if I remember correctly, they were living in New York, and her boyfriend was working, doing an audition, Sean John audition, and they asked the boyfriend to S somebody's D, and he said, no. And they said, okay, well, if you won't, then, get your girl to come to our white party or whatever, something like that. And if I'm remembering correctly, right? And then that seems like it does kind of go with the rest of the allegations, everything else. Like, for me, for whatever my useless opinion is worth, I believed the allegations from the lawsuit sounded reasonable. It sounded like something that could have existed and happened in this world based on what I've seen. It felt like it was part of the pattern. She had pictures. Adrian English lawsuit, I believe, is also where we got the Kimora Lee Simmons. Remember Kimora Lee Simmons was laying in the bed with Diddy in the Sean John perfume cologne ad or whatever. I made a whole video about it. I think that came from Adrian English's lawsuit. Okay, so all that to say, I want to add the context, because I don't want it to seem like this is some type of like, let's just bash everything Adria English ever said. And I certainly don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that she's lying about anything, because I actually find her to be credible and her lawsuit to be credible, insofar as, do I believe there's some plausible grounds is there some basis to the allegations that she's making in her lawsuit? And because she had included pictures, and because it seemed to coincide with the other types of patterns from the same universe, it seemed to me like it kind of passed the gut check, for lack of, I don't know, the appropriate terms or whatever. So I actually do believe that Adria is credible as far as the allegations she made in that lawsuit. And so that's the context I started at. That was the context I started at, was like a bias toward her, to credibility, right? Same thing with Misha. I heard her, y'all, I told y'all already, I could still cry thinking about her retelling of that story, because the way that she came across, the way that she presented the story was like very believable. It felt like it was like impossible someone could just be acting. It didn't feel like that could be being acting. You know what I mean? So same with Misha. I found her to be credible. Now, I will say, Misha goes on an interview. Adria has been on interviews as well, I believe. I'm trying to there's okay. I'm trying to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really trying to be fair because I do have some knee jerk, things I want to say, but it's like, that's not fair. Like, I really want this to be like just pretty much factual and then a little bit opinion. You know what I mean? So, okay. So, Misha, I will admit, even though I had to pause Misha's, I haven't even been able to watch part 2 yet. Because the first part, it took me a couple hours. I had to pause it. I had to write notes. I had to get water. Y'all know I don't even like to drink water. I needed a refreshment. It was like very raw, and I mean, I was with some stuff even censored out, like some of the really words, were censored out and stuff. So it's like, even though I did have that reaction and I do believe her, as in I do believe the emotions that were appearing on screen, I believe that was real. But I think there's a possibility based on discrepancies in the public record. I think there's a possibility that some of the facts that Misha presented were perhaps not exactly what happened. Oh my God. I want to avoid getting into some of the extremely far out stuff. Having to do with people thinking she was recreating a movie plot. I'm not going to address any of that stuff here. I mean, maybe who knows who's going to come on here, who link I sent, who might show up here. But what I will say is, for example, it's being purported that Misha, the woman that's interviewed with Lionel B twice as Misha, and the one who's Adria English's friend, it's been purported, it's been told to us, the public, the people. Now, remember, all this happened because people availed this to us, the people, just like we're doing right now. If someone wants to pick this up and talk about it, that's their right to do because I'm putting it out there, right? There's 2,000, 3,000 people in here. So the same way, whenever you going on people's channels and getting millions of views and things and hundreds of thousands and things, then you putting your business out there to the people. And then sometimes whenever the details don't exactly line up, the people have questions. Now, sometimes it doesn't really matter. Like, for example, in my opinion, if there was a discrepancy in age, but the age was 13 or 14, I personally don't find that detail to be necessarily material. But let's say it was a difference between 13 and 21. Okay, I would find that to be a much more material detail, right? So that's just my opinion, right? All y'all, each and every one of you has your own opinion. And so you get all these opinions starting to fly around social media to say okay, well, for example, in that Jane Doe lawsuit that they're saying is Misha, there are also pictures included within the lawsuit. And in one of the pictures, it's this presumably a young girl, young woman, young girl, face blurred out, but she's wearing a DG, Dolce & Gabbana. I don't know. It's like a logo, like CCG, DG, something. It's like a brown shirt or something. And then the face is blurred so you can't see her. Now they're trying to purport that that is Misha. Okay. So I went and looked up that lawsuit. I had read it. It was one that was filed in December. It was filed in December, really right after Cassie's lawsuit. So within a month after Cassie filed her lawsuit, this Jane Doe with the brown DG shirt on. Y'all need to relax in the comments. Where are the mods? Y'all don't need to say can we refrain with Misha is a liar? That's not the point. So please don't. I also would like it to be very, very clear. I do not believe that Misha is a liar. And I do not believe that she is lying. I don't. Because lying requires that you actually have some type of possession of like what really happened. And I believe, and I reserve the right to change my mind if presented with more evidence. But it is my belief. I just want to put it out there because people are going to accuse me of calling her a liar if not. I really need to get it out there. I believe Misha substantially is telling true recollections of what she perceived happened, or reconstruct whatever. I don't want to pathologize. Okay, all I want to say is I'm not saying Misha's a liar, and I'm also not saying Adria is a liar. Okay, so if y'all could like just not like, I know y'all do that other places and stuff like, and I do see it's only just a couple of y'all. I mean, I do see it's only just a couple, but I like what ends up happening, unfortunately for me, is when y'all put comments like, so and so is a liar, they take a screenshot of it with me up here on the screen and then they put it in a court filing because gang stalkers are harassing me, if y'all would remember. So I have to make these disclaimers. And I mean, I also like am truly of the belief, I don't think that Misha is out here like trying to like I believe the crying and the all of that was coming from a real place. I do. But my ultimate loyalty lies with the truth. And unfortunately, there are some discrepancies, some of which I think generally we think is kind of like, who cares? You know, was she 13? Was she 14? It is a little bit of a difference, you know, it is, maybe people should have the facts, but like, But then, y'all, I've heard 3 separate versions of where Misha was originally, where she got picked up, and then where she ended up. So it was like one version of the story was like she got picked up in Michigan and gone to New York. Then Misha on Lionel B said that she had lived in New York City and she was being frequented by these record producer people, not Clive Davis, but Andre Harrell and who not Andre Harrell, I'm sorry, freaking Harv Pierre. I just see the H in my mind. Harv Pierre. And she tells this story about this horrendous stuff. I mean, J-Lo was there with a bottle that was busted. Bill Cosby was there in the story with a cigar, putting it out on places unspeakable. I mean, truly, y'all, I had to stop the interview many times. And so it was like, in her story, she said she got picked up by, I believe it was Harv Pierre in a black SUV of some sort. And she gets in, there was jelly beans. The jelly beans were poisoned, or excuse me, laced, or what, something, that was what was implied. And she was being pressured by this person who picked her up to eat the jelly beans. She says kind of the next thing, I'm just kind of paraphrasing, right? But you can go watch it. Part 1 of the Lionel B interview. And she's like, she passes out and and kind of next thing she remembers comes to on a plane. She didn't want to get in the car, but he slammed, somehow her head gets slammed. She's on a plane, which all of this part, I mean, I do believe has happened to people. And it's like it's happened somewhere, to someone. I mean, I think, but who knows, that's why we got to see evidence. But then she's on the plane and that happened in New York. And then she flies down to Miami. Okay. But then there's Adria English goes on Popcorn Planet today, and she said two totally separate, different destinations. 2 cities. I don't remember exactly which 2, but it wasn't the 2 previous. So I'm like, well, I mean, shit, like, where does that leave us, right? Like, I'm begging and pleading for them to give me some plausible answer to it, which could just be like, oh, she don't remember, here's a plausible answer. I would buy it because I'm like desperate to get an answer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm almost still biased. What if they said something like, Misha was living all over the place. She was with her dad sometimes, mom sometimes, grandma sometimes. She was in different cities. She didn't exactly remember what year was what, but she definitely got picked up in a car and she definitely ended up in Miami. Okay, well, that's fine. That would help. But it's like now that people have started to ask these questions, which I believe are reasonable, and in particular are reasonable because we are talking about legal cases, legal filings, and I try not to do too much speculating over here outside of what's relating to these cases because it's just, I find it's just a higher quality and it's just more relevant to like what we need to care about because it's what can be proven, what cannot be proven, where, there's some rules of sorts. And I know people don't always follow rules, but it's better to have at least some in place than a freaking free for all. At least we can try and hold them to something. Yeah, Texas was the other one squished today that they were saying. And so it's like, could there be good reason? Could there be good reason why? They don't remember which city or, whatever. Sure, absolutely. Absolutely could be. But people, whenever we as the people, as the people are presented with a bunch of different versions, for example, of the same story. Let's just say the two cities where she left from and went to, because it's innocuous. It doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, who was Bill Cosby there or not? It doesn't matter. Let's just talk about those cities, right? There's good reasons, easily justifiable reasons, just forgot, just said the wrong thing, all that. But then, when we're presented with that, I do think that it's absolutely expected. Not even justified, not even allowed. Expected. You should expect that when you appeal to the people to listen to you, to especially to do any kind of call to action, to pay attention and things like that, I do think that you should expect that your previous and your future statements will be compared. I do. And that's why I say routinely, I reserve the right to change my mind because I do change my mind about stuff and I will continue to do so. And sometimes, I will explain why if I think it's warranted, why I change my mind about something. But I do think it's a little bit unfair to then accuse the people of being improper by calling forward that there are discrepancies within the story. And I have watched many, many, many videos over the past 2 days. Different content creators, different YouTubers, streamers, some of whom I know personally, but I don't know if they know I was watching their videos about this specific stuff. But I've been kind of like, hoping that I wouldn't have to speak on this. And I've been watching people, YouTubers, streamers, kind of tippy toe around this landmine of issue, because it's almost as if people seem to kind of think if they start to try and talk about the discrepancies that it will be somehow like discrediting victims, questioning victims, not believing victims. I also think that both Adria and Misha are credible. Like they seem like why would you lie about this, right? Why would you lie? And for me, it's like stuff where I'm like, it's probably trauma. It's probably 30 years ago, like substantive, maybe even if they are making up a little thing or two, like I still kind of believe what they're saying. I do. Still, even now, I still do. But then that leaves me with still my ultimate loyalty has to lie with the truth. And so it does beg the question. I am curious, was she 13 or was she 17? Was she 13 or was she 14? I'd like to know, I guess. But 17 and 13 is different. Now you have Misha saying she was 13 years old on a sushi table. And then today, Adria said she was 14 years old on the sushi table and that she was slurping strawberries off the 14-year-old's beep. I think it was, chest area, we'll say. And Adria said she was the one in the bathroom who told, Adria admitted on camera today on Popcorn Planet, she told a 14-year-old Misha, this is what Adria said, 14-year-old Misha, Adria told her, lie and say you're 17. Okay. And then Adria said she knows what happened because she was there slurping the strawberries off of her. And it's like, wow, damn, what an admission. And for what? And again, now this is the third age we get from Misha. Is it 13? Is it 14? Is it 17? Again, I could see why someone might need to lie about their age. I could see why somebody would tell someone to lie about their age. I could see how all of that. It's not that I can't see why and how reasons. Y'all have to take one step further because my ultimate loyalty is with the truth. So it's not good enough for me to just say, she probably fill in the blank. I need to know what happened. I want to know what happened. I don't want to know what could explain, what should explain, what might explain, what coulda. That's not good enough for me. And so for me, like I've been doing this, I think I'm coming up on might be getting close to almost 5 years. 4 years I've been doing this. Almost, it's getting this 4.5 at least. And yeah, this is my job in a way, like it is my job. This is what I do. I wake up every day and I do this, but it's in search of the truth. It's not in search of the best click. And it's like, I don't really know why it is that like only YouTubers get accused of this, but it's like they doing everything for a click. Like, what? Like, what are you doing everything for a whatever? Like, what do you mean? Like, sure, there's absolutely people out here doing everything for a click. All right. There's definitely people out here. Okay. I've seen Mr. Beast. Okay. But I just think it's like, why nobody's saying that about NBC? They got YouTube channels, Nobody's saying it about Daily, any of that. Y'all don't even accuse TMZ of trying to get a click. And when I'm saying y'all, I'm not talking about the people in the live chat. I'm talking about, who. Y'all know who I'm talking to. But let's rewind the clock. Okay, let's rewind it back and say, let's say I'm doing this. I wake up every day. I put my makeup on. I put these little ears on. I do my channeling from the mothership. And all day it's to get clicks. And then when you click on here, what am I doing? Exposing corruption and tyranny, teaching for free for $0, not behind a paywall to you, you don't even have to sign up. You don't have to give me your email address or nothing. For free, I'm imparting upon you every single thing I've ever learned at any given moment, including the $250,000 Ivy League legal education that I'm just giving out to the world. This is service to me. This is seva to me. I'm doing this because the good Lord wills it and because he said. All right. So let's say you get in here, you click on that, you're getting this education. I'm telling y'all they got celebrities and guardianships and conservatorships. I'm telling y'all that they lying to you about the cause of death and the drugs in the system and interest of public interest. I'm telling y'all about the web and Lou Taylor. I'm entertaining you. You're laughing. I'm helping you out. I'm giving you life advice about how to make your bed and stuff. You're crying. You're giving me advice. I'm laughing at y'all and we're just having a great old time. And at the end of the day, I get to go down to the McDonald's and get myself a Happy Meal because I made some money off of it. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I mean, so what's so bad if I want somebody to click on that and see that? If, right? I'm saying if. Like if I did all this for a click, I want to click on this. Yeah, hell yeah, come click. So that's if I would have got you a Happy Meal. I mean, and even the haters have something to entertain them. They have there's economies running. I'm running economies, hater economies. I'm a creator. Amen, Jesus. And I'm a creation at its finest. And so I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, baby girl, last time I checked, you could have made a YouTube channel for $3.00. And you could have went right over there and you could have made a video. But no, you want to avail yourself to other people's hard-earned platforms, other people's hard-earned communities, and you want to shill what you shilling. Then you get on there and you're yelling and you're screaming at the host. It's like, where's the manners, girl? Because now we've moved to a point in time, y'all, where we got people screaming at us on our platform, screaming, squawking, screeching about how they should be making money and are entitled to making money on top of being platformed to almost 1 million subscribers. Y'all, the way that I saw this earlier, it was honestly took my breath away. And that is starting from the point of, I believe Adria English's allegations. I believe her. I find her credible. But the way that she behaved earlier was just so like, where's the like, I'll tell you what, as a creator, as a content creator, as a legal edutainer, as a pop culture commentator, as all of the different little hats and jobs and things I do over here, it actually made me kind of afraid to want to cover her story, even though I believe her, even though I believe her allegations in the lawsuit, because it felt like we're not allowed to question anything. Like, so what? You like gonna get screamed and yelled at and like, I don't know, like bossed around because you just point out the obvious, which is there's been 3 different ages given for Misha. There's been 6 different cities given, or 5. It's I'm not saying anything about the quote unbelievableness of the allegations. If you will notice, I did not one time mention a yellow snake. Nope. I didn't mention a building burning down. And I won't. And I won't. Because last I checked, Diddy is being accused by the feds of arson and kidnap. Okay. So could have been that happened. All right. But what I do have questions about is the stuff we have evidence for in the record. And that is, there's been different cities given. There's been different ages given. There's just been discrepancies legitimately. And whenever you avail yourself to the public and you plead to the public to listen to your story on someone else's platform and someone else's community and someone else's audience, and then that community and that audience has questions, then so be it. Because yes, absolutely. Anyone, like I said in this chat, anybody calling somebody a liar straight up, anybody being just hateful and mean, no, don't do it. I don't stand by that. I can't support it at all, and I don't. But was she 13, was she 14, or was she 17 is not the same thing as calling someone a liar. Let me show y'all what I mean. I got the video up here. We can watch some of it. I felt like I needed to say something because I felt like it wasn't good faith. And I'll tell y'all, anybody coming on my platform, I'm not paying them to come on here. I will let y'all know in my inbox right now, in my emails right now, there are major companies that you've definitely heard of offering me thousands of dollars to mention their crusty product for 30 to 60 seconds. Oh, girl, let it be 90. Cha-ching. Have you seen me read one of those to you on this channel once in your life? The answer is no. If I really was out here trying to click and clout, I'll be reading you a fill in the blank ad right now. Okay. And I reserve the right to still do that one day. If one of them reach out to me that I don't think their product is crusty, yes, I will. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And so it used to be the case. People were grateful and thankful. Holy big. There's a platform with even 20,000 people that I can go and tell my story. I've been trying to tell this story for so long. Please listen to me. Y'all, 3 years ago, I was begging somebody a platform the size of even mine to listen to my story, to amplify my story. I think I might, if I had money, would have paid them. I don't believe that somebody should pay me. I believe this is my service. I believe that I should use this platform responsibly to amplify the messages that need to be amplified to the people it needs to be amplified to. And I believe that is what I will continue to do and what I have done. Okay. I'm not asking anybody to pay me to come on this platform, and I will not be paying anyone to come on. I believe that it should be cooperative. I believe that's what sharing is caring. I have something, you have something, trading, all this getting all the money changing involved. No, that's clownery and I'm not doing it. Now, if I'm asking them to travel or something, if somebody needs help getting somewhere, that's different. I'm talking about this money transaction for coming on a freaking YouTube channel, for the love of God. Please, that is so stupid. Now listen, if you want to pay somebody to go on your channel, to come on your channel, then please do. Whatever. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I know the value of my platform and I am humbly offering it to the right people for $0, but you got to pass the gut check, the mothership check, the Lord check. Bam Margera, $0. Did he pay $0? Did I pay Bam Margera, a celebrity? They didn't even have to pay him. And these people think that they should be paid. And it's like, it's really the entitlement, because it's hard not to take it personally, because it's like such a gross misrepresentation of what I know for a fact what I'm doing, to act like I'm just like, let me show you what she's saying. That's what I should just do. Cause it was too far. And again, I believe her. I don't even think that she's lying. That's the thing. She's like, people want to call me a liar. It's like, what? No one's calling you a liar because they want to know how old the girl was because they've been told 3 things. That's not the same thing as calling somebody a liar, you know? And you should be paid. That's the thing too. She was coming on to really correct the record. Like, honestly, like, thank God she had access to a platform that size to come and try and clear her name up, because really it wasn't looking good for her. Andy, in my opinion, was giving her the opportunity to clear her name up, and she wanted to be paid. That's crazy to me. And she has her Cash App up under there, like driving the point home. And look, listen, do we live in capitalism? Hell yes, we absolutely do. Do we live in people got to pay their bills? Yes, of course we do. But there's a way to go about things, y'all. There's the way to have tact. And then there's a way to just be being too much. And that's what happened over here. I'm just so sorry to tell you. Just so sorry.
All you got is a memory you remember that time when you was listening to that song, and that's all y'all holding on to. A concert ticket. Oh, my mama is the first.
Let me turn those subtitles on. Let's just okay.
Alone. This interview is not confirmation of any of their allegations. These are opinions. Any name mentioned here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. There's a lot of drama happening in the Diddy space, with some now trying to call out the victims. I have Adriel in.
And that's true. Some are trying to call out the victims. That's not what I'm trying to do. Okay. And it's like, that's the thing. Like, everybody needs to learn a little bit of nuance, because my loyalty is with the truth and what actually happened. If someone was actually victimized, yes, absolutely. My loyalty is with, justice for them, because the truth lies with that. But we got to get to the truth, right? So Andy's like, here's some people accusing the victims of doing stuff. And it's like, some people are being very mean out here to the victims, and that's not right. Again, I don't encourage that, and I don't support it or endorse it. I think that it's bad and mean, and y'all shouldn't do it, in my opinion.
Here to break it all down.
So here's Adria English. She's going to be on here to set the record straight. Because look, we're not lying is the title of the video.
Against Sean Diddy Combs, and she filed a lawsuit in July of 2024. Allegations that stem from her time working as a dancer at Combs's events, including his infamous white parties. At one of those parties, she claims she was coerced into drinking an alcohol beverage that was laced with a substance. And later, it was then forced into non-consensual acts. She alleges that she was trafficked over several years, pressed into engaging in these acts with party attendees, including many prominent individuals. She believes her encounters were also secretly recorded, and the suit names other accomplices, including this guy. Says so big that many think her claims are too outrageous to.
Okay, so Andy's kind of saying, like, many think her claims are too outrageous to be real. That's true. I've seen some people saying that, right? Like, oh, she's just quoting the plot of whatever it is, Blink twice, so she's not credible. Yes, there are people saying that. But there are also people pointing out factual discrepancies, and then they're saying, like, but which one is it? So that's not the same thing as saying, oh, I just can't believe that. That's just too not credible to be true. I just can't believe that. It's like, sure, there's people that are saying that. No, there wasn't a witch at the party with a snake. There's people saying that, but there's also people saying, I believe her, but like some of the stuff just ain't adding up. And there's good reasons for it. I'm not saying, oh, wow, she's out here trying to fool us. It's just like, let's get to what actually is what happened, because we need to know.
True. She was also a witness and friend of Misha, another.
See the D and G shirt? Okay, so in my memory it was brown, but I guess it's black. But this Misha, this is the other victim, alleged, the other person purporting to be a victim, the Jane Doe or whatever, and she was like, Jane Doe revealed.
We recently spotlighted, who claims to be the woman in these photos. However, a recent lawsuit says it's a different Jane Doe. Plus, there have been some question about sushi photos and other issues, and I just wanted to try to get to the bottom of it. So
Andy's like, I wanted to get to the bottom of it, so he reached out to Adria.
So grateful that Adria was willing to come and address it all. Adria, welcome to the show. So glad you're here. How are you doing today?
Hey, Andy. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Shout out to everybody tuning into the Popcorn Planet. We appreciate everybody. So we're going to get right into it. Andy, what's up?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming in here because, listen, I don't know how to cover some of this because I wanted to address sort of some of the concerns that are coming in.
And yeah, it's like I said, like I've seen people kind of tippy-toeing around the issue because it's like, obviously, for obvious reasons, y'all can see how it's like difficult for us to even say anything one way or the other, because even just saying, well, how old was she, is like, people are like, trauma can do weird things. Trauma can affect the brain. And it's like, whoa, I know that. Whoa, hold on. Like not everybody asking a question is necessarily saying like, whoa, this evil liar. I started the stream out by saying I've misremembered stuff, and I could have swore if I would have took a lie detector, it would have passed, but it just wasn't what happened. It just wasn't. Am I saying that's exactly what happened here? No, I don't know. But it's impossible that the picture was taken when she was 13, 14, and 17, right? We're only looking at one picture. So it must be the case she was only one age when the picture was taken. So was it 13? Was it 14? Was it 17? In one version of the story, I think in the lawsuit, it was a man. No, excuse me. In Misha's version of the story, it was a man picked her up. She was running and she still had the thing inside her guts and stuff. And she's hiding, and this white man picked her up and drove her from Florida all the way to New York. Like that seems like a pretty significant detail of how she got back. You know what I mean? Like think about how long it takes to drive from Florida to New York. Like days. She would have been in the car with this man for days, and with the thing inside her body, right? That's her version of story. But then there's two other versions of the story where she's getting dropped off different places, picked up different places. So it's like, what's true? Just asking that question does not mean you're saying she's a liar. It's like if there's different versions of the story, you just want to know which one's true.
And I'm really grateful you're here. We talked about this prior. I'm not saying I don't believe you guys. I'm not here trying to discredit you guys.
Right.
I don't want this to be about that.
Right.
There are starting to be some fair questions, and I'm grateful you came on here to address it. Because to me, if there are issues, we got to address those issues. We got to answer those issues and sort of come up to this. So that's thank you for being here and sort of for doing this.
Thank you. Yeah, if we have a problem, we need to iron it out. So I'm here to definitely clear it up, clear it.
So she said, yeah, definitely. If we have a problem, we need to iron it out. Agreed.
Stop all this.
So she's here to clear the air, right? That's her stated purpose. If we have a problem, we need to iron it out, and you need to pay me to iron the problem out because we have a problem, but only you should pay to iron it out. Okay, got it.
And as I'm seeing online, this is very weird.
What's she saying?
Iron it out. So I'm here to definitely clear it up, clear up the air, stop all this weirdness I'm seeing online.
I would like a definition for weirdness. Stop all this weirdness I'm seeing online. I don't know what that means. Let's see if she defines further.
Weird.
It's very weird.
It's interesting how somebody or people could be so adamant on something that could be, saying that something is a lie, and we're saying it's the truth. But if you could be adamantly to say I'm a lie, how could it not be the opposite, adamantly the truth? When there's been
so that, I mean, again, would need more specificity. She's like, how could something be, why are y'all so sure that something's a lie when you could just be equally as sure that something's the truth? And it just really depends what exactly she's talking about. Like, that's a little bit too vague. Like, is she talking about the people who are pointing out the actual fact discrepancies or she's talking about people that are just straight up ass, like saying like, oh, Misha's a liar. Cause like if she's talking about them people, then yeah, I mean, how could they know? We can't know in her particular case.
Like I said, we've done a lie detector test, and that's how we know we're lying. Or she's been tried in court, and that's how we know we're lying. Or I was there and I saw her, and she was the.
Well, to be fair, there are people who are saying like the timeline doesn't add up. The body shapes don't add up. That is evidence. That's not like just your feeling. When there's pictures out and then there's public statements out, then that does give people enough to compare them. I mean, that's just how it works.
Doing woo, woo, woo. That's how I know she's lying. But people who literally were not there, who literally have no skin in the game other than my words, shout out to everybody that's going to make money spitting off of this video and all the other videos. Every time I speak, I make everyone money.
Do y'all see how it puts content creators in a very, very weird position? Because like she's alleging that, again, like this is why I wanted y'all to see it, because it's like, all right, it's a catch-22, right? Because let's say I just was like, you know what? Adria English doesn't like it that people, quote, make money off of talking about her. And I just want to get one thing clear right now. I could be live right now talking about anything and thousands of people would be in here. I could be live showing y'all my thrift store haul and it would probably be at least 1,200 people in here. So no matter what, I'm going to have people in here. So it's not like I need Adria English or anybody to pull a view. And that's one thing I've been accused of before in these fraudulent slap lawsuits is like, she needs me for clicks. And it's like, baby girl, baby sweeter, baby honey. I don't need anything or anybody for clicks except the Lord and an internet connection. Could be Ethernet, could be 5G. It really doesn't matter. So it's not a shout out to everybody going to make a click. So the kind of like, the knee jerk in me is like, fine, I'm never going to talk about Adria English ever again since she don't want anybody to make money off of her. But then like, since my ultimate loyalty is to the truth, it puts me in a position, right? So it's like, what? I got to demonetize my videos. So what is the landlord going to demonetize? The landlord, the electric company going to demonetize the electric bill? Is the internet going to demonetize? It's like, you know what I mean? You see how weird of a position that puts us in? It's like, so should we talk about Adria English to amplify her story or should we not? You know what I mean? It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because then if I just completely ignore Adria English and I never talk about her ever again, then what? I get accused of what then? Silencing her, ignoring her. And again, my ultimate loyalty, I don't give a shit what I get accused of. I don't care. I don't care because my loyalty is to finding out what actually happened and what's the truth. And anybody who wants to stand in the way of that can just freaking move or get proverbially run over. Move, get out the way, So it's like, again, I believe Adria English's allegations in her lawsuit. I believe them. Personally, my opinion, I believe her. I find the allegations to be credible and I find her evidence to be credible. And I'm not calling her a liar. I'm not calling her a liar, nor do I believe she is a liar. But asking a factual question where there are disputes in the public record, you didn't have to have been there. That's the thing. Y'all weren't there, she says. You don't have to have been there to see the lawsuit says 17. Misha says 13. And Adria English says 14. That you don't need to have been there. That's my point. And you don't need to be calling Adria a liar either. It's just there's a factual discrepancy that needs to be got to the bottom of.
Well, I want to get to that because that's a criticism you're facing, all you guys, that you're in this for the money. I want to talk before we get to all those questions and negatives. Let's start with your sort of story because look, both you and Misha have heartbreaking stories. I believed these stories. I felt trauma. I absolutely have no doubt you guys have been through the ringer. This Hollywood, these celebrities, I don't trust them. I don't want any of this to seem like we're not believing it. But one of the criticisms is that, these claims are outrageous, right? You seem to have a story for everybody.
And again, this is not like a criticism that I have. I'm not saying that the allegations are too outrageous to be true. because I know that crazy, crazy stuff happens in Hollywood. So this is not a criticism I have, but I have seen people saying like, there's just no way, this is too outlandish and out of, control. And I do believe in those particular circumstances, then y'all don't have enough evidence to make that allegation either. Those few people that saying, that, for example, that's my opinion.
Princes, like, what is your response to people who are like, it's too much? How are we supposed to believe all this?
Well, first of all, you can believe it or not. Second of all, you guys weren't in.
See how it starts to become a little bit confrontational. Like, I believe that maybe Adria like took his question personally, because I think people don't really think about things from the standpoint of liability. Like, I don't know. I can't speak for Andy. He might have a whole production going on over there, but I really don't think so. Like, we're just like in our house on our computers. So it's like whenever we have somebody on our channel making an allegation, or even whenever we play a clip on our channel, making an allegation, and Andy definitely has had to deal with litigation. I have actively currently dealing with litigation. And it's like, y'all aren't the ones, right? Like, when I'm saying y'all, I mean like, people that are saying stuff like how Adrian English is talking. These folks are not the ones who have to be up all night worried about a lawsuit. How you going to pay for it? How you going to, take your vacation? You got court. Like, every single thing that happens on our channels, we have to run it through that filter. And so when we have someone on here saying something, and we have the audience actively and justifiedly asking for factual questions, and we have the platform and the opportunity to get the truth and the answer, if we could get the person to answer and they want to and all that, then it's like, you have to say what people are thinking, right? Like, so here's the question, right? Like, some people out here are saying it's too outlandish to believe it, right? And her response is like, as if Andy is the one who asked that. Well, you can believe it or not. And it's like, whoa, hold on. That is literally what? It's like she almost doesn't understand how like media works. Like, you have to like ask the question. Otherwise, you can't like, I don't know. Maybe she's used to doing that over there where they get 200 views or whatever and people aren't looking. But like, you have to watch what you allow people to say on your platform, because they will hold it against you. And I just feel like it's just like, maybe she didn't understand that that's why he was asking. Listen again.
Much. How are we supposed to believe, right? You seem to have a story for everybody. Shocking presidents, princes, like, what is your response to people who are like,
what is your response to people?
It's too much. How are we supposed to believe?
So people is a third person, right? What is your response to them? So the response should be, I would tell them they can believe me or not. But she doesn't do that. She's not talking about hypothetical people. She turns right on Andy.
All this.
Well, first of all, you can believe it or not. Second of all, you guys weren't invited. You guys are part of the elite.
No, I was never invited, sweetie girl. Oh no, baby girl. I was never invited in my life. Thank God. And I'm not part of the elite. But because I'm part of the people for millennia have spoken about the elite and made commentary on them. Indeed, wars were fought over this, and we got Constitution over here for exactly that. The First Amendment, the very first one, they put it first. We had the right to discuss and criticize the elite. It's our right.
There's 100% in everything, and 5% run the world, are in the elite, the top tier as far as our economic and social status is concerned.
She might be right about that. I mean, I don't have the percentages, but she's probably right about that. The top 5% of people run like everything, probably. It's probably true.
And that's who we're talking about here, the elite, not you 95%ers who work jobs, who pay minimum, lower class.
That's me. I'm in the 95 lower class. I'm not in the 5. I'm not in the 5. Put a 5 in the chat if you're not in the 5. Put a 95 in the chat if you're in the 95. I'm in the 95 with y'all. We down here, we looking at the elite going, something is amiss. Your facts ain't adding up.
That's the middle class taxes.
That's me. Middle in the middle.
Now you people who are on government assistance.
Oh.
Now you people who've never met a celebrity.
She's saying who she ain't talking to. She ain't talking to us. She ain't talking about us 95 percenters. She ain't talking about them low class percenters. She ain't talking about nobody ain't never met a celebrity, because that's not who she's talking to. So she's only talking to the top 5%. I don't know why in the hell she would go on Popcorn Planet or anybody's YouTube channel.
Their whole life. Not you people that paid $500 to go see Beyonce, for example.
Nobody who went to see Beyonce for $500 is being addressed either.
Nosebleed section.
In the nosebleed. Adria, girl.
It's not for any of you guys.
Okay, who's it for?
Talking to us.
Y'all, she's about to say something very, very. It's kind of silly. It's kind of stupid, actually. Listen.
Specific group of people here. That includes the judges.
One more time.
It's not for any of you guys.
Listen.
We're talking to a specific group of people here. That includes the judges. She
just said we. I don't know who is we. I really don't know. I guess it's her and Misha. We are on here talking to a very specific group of people, and that includes the judges. No, ma'am, it does not. No, it does not. Ex parte communication. The judge is not allowed by law to do external research. If a judge sees a thing on YouTube about a case and there's collecting evidence on YouTube, the judge has to recuse themselves. There could even be a mistrial. Like, it's very serious. You cannot have ex parte communications with a judge. So I promise you, there's a 0% chance that she's talking to the judge, or that we, whoever in the hell is the we, is talking to a judge. So it's like, what is the point of this right here? I thought she was coming on here to correct the record, tell us how old Misha was, tell us what city she was picked up, dropped off, and how did she survive this, and why is it that she was this in 2004? Was she 11? Was she 13? Where was the gummy bears? Who was it that picked her up? This is how she's choosing to respond to those questions.
The lawyers, the principals, the victims, the God-fearing people.
I wonder if any of those people paid $500 for Beyonce, and then where that Venn diagram overlaps, I wonder which one wins. You know what I mean? I wonder things.
People who want justice.
There's a lot. I feel like this is a lot more than 5% of the people, ma'am. Your math ain't mathing.
Other people who know people that are victims, people whose kids are missing right now, or family members are missing.
The group's getting bigger. It's bigger than 5, I fear.
Now. And they had no way to tell anybody anything. So that's who I'm talking to. Not everybody who's running around who work, who after they make their video, they go punch a time clock.
Now she don't like it if you doing YouTube part-time and you have a full-time job. You can't do both. You can't go punching time clocks and having a YouTube channel and expect her to be talking to you. No.
And they need this money to pay their rent next month. So they make a little reaction video off of my words. And the reason why I say we want compensation to speak. Okay, so Andy didn't even bring up compensation. He just said there's been some drama, and she's taken it as an opportunity to platform this compensation idea, which I believe is preposterous indeed. To address any of this, because this is time consuming. It takes time out of our day, our lives that we can never get back. Time is the one and only commodity. How many views does this have? 38,000 views and almost 39,000 in 7 hours, plus the 4,600 people that are in here right now. And she's like, this is just, it takes so much time. It takes so much time. But like, don't you want to get your message out? Like, I remember when we were in Free Britney and we were just literally begging and pleading. Anybody, any news, any tabloid, a blog, a podcast, a YouTube, anybody. I think we would have pulled our money together and paid them to go on there. And it's like the level of entitlement to this big of a platform is like, it is astounding how much effort it goes into building an 870,000 subscriber platform that's given to you for free to say whatever you want to say. And then to go on there and say, you need to pay me for the opportunity to clear my name on your platform. Andy is getting raked through the coals for platforming people that are not credible. People are attacking him. It's like he could talk about anything. That's what I don't think people are fully understanding is like people have really convinced themselves that we only get in views and clicks because
whatever the subject is, when in reality there's 10 billion Diddy videos. Go look at how many of them have 100 views. Like there's only certain people want to listen to about those topics. So it's like not it's not like a magical, like you just stumble upon a platform. That's what I don't think people understand. It's like they think because like it just doesn't make sense either, because if people are that concerned about watching her, then her videos would get that amount of views on their own. She wouldn't need to go on somebody else's. You see what I mean?
You can never get or make again. You can make more money. You can get houses, you can lose houses, you can buy cars, lose cars, trade cars, make cars. Time, none of us. I don't care if you're rich, poor, healthy, sick, black, white, racist, non-racist, you can't get back time. So if I'm gonna take my time to prove to you guys that the life I lived already 20 years ago.
And this is a mischaracterization. She's saying, I'm going to take my time to prove to you guys that the life I lived already was accurate or whatever. That's not what people want. They just want the truth. They just want to know, how old was Misha? They want to know, how did you meet? Wait, when did you meet? How did you know the lady on the pool table was Talia? Why are you calling her Mexican Iranian? You know, it's like, that's not proving the life you lived.
And what I'm telling you guys really happened.
That part I believe. I believe that the stuff that she says happened, but there's some factual discrepancies, particularly pertaining to the Misha story.
Yes, I need to be compensated for that, because it takes time out of me doing something for my son, taking maybe another phone call, maybe writing a lyric or something I got in my brain. I gotta take time away from that. And then I can't work anywhere. Y'all see my press. You see I'm running up.
She don't got to. That's the thing. Like she got to. She don't got to. She can go spend time with her son. She can go write a lyric. She can get off YouTube. It's like she wanted to avail herself to people's platforms. She wanted to avail herself to y'all, to the public, to the people. And I don't know. I feel like it's just, you know, it isn't an angle of the story that I'm particularly looking to continue covering, because, you know, it's met with this hostility. I want, hello, Popcorn Planet gang. Hello, Popcorn Planet gang. Popcorn Planet coming through. I just feel like if you want to get your story out and you want to avail yourself to people's platform, then you should expect, if there's discrepancies in the story, people will notice them and have questions. Sometimes there's discrepancies and stuff, and it's just, oops, I forgot. My bad. I thought she was 14, girl. I was on drugs. But this way of lashback and kind of like, I don't know, Darvo, it just feels like it's creating an environment of animosity such that, do I want to invite on the next person? You know, it's like, do I, you know, I don't want to be held responsible for other people's actions. But then at the same time, like, I don't want to be accused of some messed up stuff either. Like, it almost makes me feel like I need to keep my distance from any and everybody, and I shouldn't have anybody on my channel, because I only want to deal with people who are operating in good faith, who have manners, who know how to treat others, who aren't necessarily coming out the gate with this hyper accusatory, like, you know, and it's like, I feel also a little bit on, you know, sympathy for like the creator side of things, because obviously it's, you know, one of the jobs I have. And so it's like, what's the line? You know, you're trying to cover stuff, your loyalties to the truth, and you're trying to get to the bottom of it. And you don't want to feel like bullied into silence. But then you have like these preposterous assertions like that you should, I mean, I'm not making enough money to pay my own freaking way through life right now. Okay. So, I mean, my heart goes out to people who are in the same position. I know a lot of us are there. It's like a recession or something, but I don't know what, you know, because the way I see it, the way I truly see it is like Amanda Rabb, you know, for example, I used my platform. It was much smaller at the time to try and put her story out on the map, because I feel like if I can get it out into the consciousness, then what happened, you know, or what we know happened, and then can we figure out what actually happened so the lady can rest in peace, for example? And it's like, I'm out here thinking that's something good. That's like my service to humanity or one of them. And it's like helping to shed light on things. And wow, thank God I can pay my bills and do this. Thank God that there is a occupation that exists in our society that allows for people such as me and other creators that I'm sure you can think of. Speaking of, here's Rabbit right here. I don't know how Rabbit is if she's currently got a 9 to 5 as well, but I know this is my full-time thing, and thank God, I
Yeah.
pay my bills
Well,
doing stuff like
this.
this.
I can't be
Rabbit,
on for too
welcome.
long. How are you, BJ? Thank you for
Good.
inviting
Thank you
me.
so much for coming on. I'm sure you have some thoughts on this. I know you just said that you can't stay long, so I'll let you have the floor. This is Rabbit, friend of the channel.
Hi, hey everybody. So, I mean, first of all, I think that this is a full-time job for me at the moment, right?
There
But
you
let
go.
me tell you, if you have a family, you got children to support, you're going to do what you have to do, whether it's Walmart or whatever it may be,
Period.
to support yourself, right? So I think that's where I took issue because there's a lot of victims out there. Hell, for all we know, the people, the Jane Does that have come out as victims probably work at Walmart. We don't know who
You're
they
right.
are.
We were just about to actually get to that part of the video. So just to fill everyone in, what's about to happen in the next minute or so of this interview is what Rabbit is alluding to now. It's where Adria is saying that one of the reasons she should be compensated for her time is because now she's kind of like a mini celebrity and she can't go work at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
She can't work at
Absolutely.
Walmart. So she needs to be getting paid to do the podcast circuit.
And to a certain degree, I understand, right, that she's telling her story, and I get that. But there are, like myself, I know, people don't always compensate these folks. The way I see it is like if we have a following or an audience, the point is to get your story out there and then allow
Mhm.
that to be what then grows attention to what is happening if it's something huge. Diddy's a huge thing, right? We all know this. I have a lot of concerns, and I definitely think that Adria has been through something as well as Misha, but I hold a lot of questions about whether they are, if everything has happened the way that they have said, if things have laid out the way that they have said, and I think that we're entitled to that opinion if we have questions.
I do too. And we're actually now, Rabbit, just joined by Andy from Popcorn Planet.
Hey!
Hi,
You know what's so
Andy.
funny? You know what's so
Mhm.
funny? First of all, thank you for spreading the word. I toyed with it for a second. I'm like, should I put a disclaimer in front of my video that says you are allowed to do fair use commentary on my videos?
I thought
But
about
my
it the other
but
day
then people are like,
too.
no, don't start a beef. And I was like, I don't want to beef. I was doing it as a joke. But yes, I'm glad you knew better. Of course you can react and give commentary to these videos. I don't like that people were, I said it to Lionel. I said it to you were there. I
Yeah.
called it out to his face when I got an issue. But hey, well, thank you for spreading the story. I just finished my live and redirected some folks here.
Thank you for coming over here,
Yeah,
Andy. We
what's
got
the verdict from you
popcorn
two?
rated.
I'm trying to look. Can I say this actually?
Yes.
What my goal with that interview was, because I guess you were watching it, was to try to be as objective and fair as possible. When I have a guest come in, I don't want them to feel sandbagged or surprised, unless they're an absolute scumbag that I know is in the wrong. I don't want to do that to a guest. Like the point of the interview, I think, is to sort of get the thoughts across, ask some questions, and get you guys to hear them, and hopefully then get more intel so you guys can make up your own decisions. That was my goal, not to really pick a side with her. I didn't really share my point of view, but I'll tell you, BJ, part 2 is crazy.
I didn't see it. I couldn't even. Part 1 got me so shook up. I mean, I'm still kind of over it, even though I do see some factual discrepancies. Like you said, I could feel that her emotions were real and it was coming. Something happened. So what I want to know, Andy, your thoughts. You weren't sharing. I didn't find you sharing your opinion too much with Adria on the interview, but I was just giving some of my thoughts if you care and to share.
Yeah, what did you guys think? Are you buying it?
Well, I mean, I believe Adria English's lawsuit allegations, like pretty much. Like, I think there's reasons why people could be, mistaken about their memories and stuff. But what I'm more taking issue with is how, like, there are actual factual discrepancies. Like, how old was Misha? Even let's take for granted that's her on the table. Was she 14? Was she 13? Was she 17? Okay, because we've gotten 3 different. Which city did she live in? Which city did they pick her up from? Was she 13 when they picked her up the first time, or 11? Did they pick her up
BJ,
in
do you want to blow your mind?
Go ahead.
You want to tease in part 2? Get
Yeah.
ready for the biggest question that you're going to ask after watching part 2.
Is it her in the suit?
Was there a lawsuit?
That's what that was the first question I asked, Andy. If you remember the other day.
Adria answers the question, and I'm telling you, it is not a helpful answer.
I didn't think so, because when Misha came forward, and let's even go back further a couple weeks. The reason why we know about Misha is because Adria was on Sean Atwood's saying that there was a friend that she couldn't disclose, and she was giving all these details, and then here comes Misha giving her side of the story. And then that's how people put 2 and 2 and say, wait a minute, Adria said that there was a friend that Misha, and that's why I kind of sat down. I said, something just doesn't sound right, but I guess we'll let them have it. I guess we'll see what's going on.
I haven't even wanted to, I haven't even wanted to comment on it, because for me, it's like, it comes down to evidence. We'll see it in court or not, or whatever. But it's like, then all of this sideshow about she deserves to be compensated to be able to come on there and straighten out her own messed up story. I mean, I'm thinking she should have been thanking you for giving the platform to come and straighten out the story that don't add up. That's where I was like, hold on, I got to jump in here, because it's making me feel like, so what are we supposed to do as content creators? We don't talk about people because why? She wants people to give their money to a fundraiser. Like we don't have an electric bill to pay.
Well, I can chime in on that.
Go ahead.
I think she's living in that car.
Okay.
So like, I don't think she really can I think she is living day by day, and so
you're right.
Isn't the way to do that
the reality check is like,
a Diddy victim, and like, if y'all could, if you wouldn't mind, I'm living in my car, please donate. I know, like, be a little humble about it instead of being so like having so much animosity and being so like, I don't know. It was just, I felt like,
look, I had that concern, but I've talked to other people, and I don't want to say who I've talked to, but in this space, and some other people sort of opened my eyes of like, she's been used and abused and put through the ringer, the system. Whether everything she's saying is true, I don't know, but I will bet that she has been used like crazy by this industry, by men. And I think, because I agree with you, and my instincts were like, what is this money? It's all about the money. This is right. But I think there's a little bit of her trying to reclaim her self and her worth, if in a way that I think has made her do that. And so while it was a little off-putting, and I get why it would be off-putting to others, I can sort of, in talking to her, that's why I love talking to people, because you get a better sense of who they are, right? Yeah. And I get a sense that she's just like sick of being taken advantage of and used.
Well, that, I mean, it's fair. And she took a lot of issue with people calling her a liar. And I just wanted to be clear too. Like, I don't think she's a liar. I'm not calling her a liar. I don't think she's a liar. I think maybe some of the facts don't specifically line up, but I think in her situation, like you said, she has been through things. I definitely believe it. So there could be many reasons why she could have some facts mixed up, but it's like, I don't know. I just felt like it was like, maybe it's worth mentioning. Not all YouTubers are created equally as far as what our motives and incentives are. And some of us, I know Andy, and I know for sure Rabbit and me, we want to amplify people's stories. We're not trying to get paid to put a story out, and we're not trying to pay to put a story out. It's like, what's the truth and what's going to be, and what's our opinion a little bit, right? I mean,
do you guys know why? I mean, I know that Ariel Mitchell, I don't know if she gets into that with you, Andy, but why she was dropped, or does she get into that at all?
She does. She calls her the Little Mermaid. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't, Ariel doesn't refer to her name. She does. I think I had to trim. Look, I'll be honest. I had to trim a couple things legally, just because it got a little intense in the second part specifically. I'll fill you guys both off the record. Yeah, she does. She basically blames, and this is all in part 2. You'll see, but I'll tease it. She does get into Ariel and blames her, and basically paints her as a clout chaser. And you got to hear it the way she says it to really get the effect. But she does paint a different picture than what Ariel was painting. Now, I've had Ariel on too, which was also a fantastic interview, because I was very aggressive against Ariel, and I was shocked she came in. But that's the thing, when these people actually have the guts to come in and face it, they get a level of respect in my mind, because it's like, all right, well, you're at least having it out. You're not afraid to have it out. And that's always, to me, at least one sign that I'll give Adria a little bit more credit after the interview, because I think she came in, right? And honestly, BJ, I bet you she'd come talk to you. If you want her, I'll connect you. But that's the question. I think
that's what I was actually just saying before both of y'all came on, is like, I'm at a crossroads, right? Because there's a part of me that never wants to even ever talk about her again, because clearly she don't like it. She has animosity toward people talking about it if they're not donating all the money to a charity or something, which I take issue with. And so it's like, fine. It's almost like I want to give her what she's asking for. But then what my true purpose is like, I have my loyalty to the truth, and I would actually like to amplify her story. So it's like, I'm a little bit like, and that's what I was talking about, the live chat about before y'all got here. It's like, where does that really leave me and us, as creators? Because I want to be doing the right thing morally and ethically too. And it's like, so I'm getting 2 messages from Adria English, right?
What
Don't make
control
money
does she
off
have?
of me or amplify my story. And it's like, which one?
Well, what control does she have over that, given, I mean, I'm sure Diddy wants us to stop talking about him, right? Like,
that's the other thing, that is the other thing. And that's a big part of my platform too. It's like, free speech is free. And I should be able to talk about somebody that's availing themselves to us. She is trying to convince us of stuff, even if she's a victim or not, right? I believe she is. But that's another question, right? Like, so just because she doesn't have, you have the right to film in a public library too, but like, if there's kids there having a reading circle, is that the right thing to do, really? Like, should you do that in that, should you use your discernment to do it? And I'm just asking, really, I don't know. It's a weird place to be.
I struggled having her on just because I was like, ooh, are they being honest? I don't want to put up a cash app of somebody who's being a fake victim. So I shared your concern, BJ, but ultimately I was like, look, this interview will help people make a decision on her more. And if she's, and everything we talked about, I talked to her before we went to air. If I were to criticize Lionel a little bit, it would be with the Misha interview. It was too much. It was very raw. It felt like that should have been something you do in a therapy session before you do it on YouTube. And
I see what you mean.
It was a lot. And I don't want to be mean. I'm not trying to, I asked him a little bit about it. And he talked about how it was rough. There were comments like, dude, take off the shades. This is way too serious. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of that attitude where I think he needs to be careful, and don't mean any disrespect. I'd say it to his face, and he was nice enough to come in, and I've been able to talk to him. None of us are above criticism. We got to be able to talk about it. And so that was what, there was some issues. And so anyway, I wrestled with it because I'm like, if they're lying, like, I don't want to spotlight that. Like, that's awful. But I figured the more you let, if they're willing to address it, because she actually texted me. I had previously been in talks with her. I was trying to figure out how to get the thing. And then she that morning texted me before we taped. And I was like, honestly, since you're texting, I think have you heard about all the backlash with Misha? It'd be nice to address it. And she's like, yeah, I've heard of it. I'm like, do you want to come on? And then she's like, well, what we talk about? And I leveled all out. And then that I made it very crystal clear. And then I even said, like, look, I don't want to do this unless we can't be transparent and ask all these questions. And I don't want it to be a trick or a gotcha or surprise. And she was like, okay, fine. And so the fact that she agreed to those terms and was willing, I thought was better, because there was a question of, do we get Misha on to respond? But I didn't really want to do that. I think Misha's still too raw. And I don't want to be like, right. Is it true? Are you lying? Are you doing? I just think that would be even worse. So I thought, because Adria has made it clear, like, she's friends, she's the one who connected her to Lionel, all that stuff. I thought, okay, well, she's at least a relevant party that can sort of chime in or back up. And I will tell you, not to promote myself, but I'm trying to get to 1 million. Subscribe to Popcorn Planet.
Make it make sense in the chat too.
Part 2 is definitely way more juicy. Like, and I'm not even trying to tease too much. Like, she goes on about the family, how they're all have an ex with each other, and more details that it's just like, it's wild. And she goes that little rant at the end where she's like, believe me, she takes the glasses off in 2 and goes even more intense towards the Combs family. And I'm telling you, as I'm watching it, I'm like, I believe her. Like, I believed her. Now, I'm not legally, I don't know. So don't sue me, Combs family. But she's got something, man. She's got something. And that's the other thing. Or, if I'm being honest to you, BJ, because I'm on your show, I'm not being a host. I'm not on my channel. Look, I see Adria. I'll be fully honest. She's either really honest and telling the truth and been screwed through the industry, or she's part of it, and she's knows as a worker, she's using what she can to grow herself again, and whether that's revisiting things differently, I don't know. To me, it could either be or, because if she's lying, she has to be a damn good liar. And
Yeah.
DJ, who could be a damn good liar? Sex workers can be damn good liars. You got to be to enjoy that activity some days.
What?
So I don't
Oh
know.
my God.
I don't know about all of that, whatever you just had said, but
Be honest, though. Come on, if she's out there with Prince Harry, as she's alleging, and presidents, you think she's enjoying herself every time, BJ?
Oh my
You gotta
God.
be a good actor.
Please, oh my God.
I'm just saying it like
This
it
is the
is.
Queen's Court. Please. I do hear what you're saying. There's a certain, je ne sais quoi to the highest levels that you have to be able to, conduct yourself in a certain way. And if that were to be the case, then maybe that's, lending to. I don't believe that. I don't believe that is what's going on. But I could see what, you're saying. I think like you've been saying, I think she's been through something. I think she's been through some stuff. And I think it's bad. And I think she does know Diddy. And I think a lot of the stuff she's saying is true. I think some of the memories maybe got a little bit mixed up. And even if some of it is a little bit, oh, look, people are subbing to you. Got a new sub,
But just what, not to interrupt, but Jessica just said it really well. Survive. That's what it's about, I imagine, as a sex worker. You got to survive. Like, you can't always enjoy it. And yeah,
Totally.
and someone's like, is it from experience? I hate that. I hate strip clubs, all that stuff. But the
Oh my
limited time
God.
I've been to a strip club, I always like talking to them, like, and try to like actually like, so what's the deal? Who does this? Like, why do people do it? And usually if you're nice, they'll talk to you and you learn a bit. And yeah, it's about surviving and just paying rent. So supporting your kid is ultimately what all that's really about.
And a lot of these people are so normal too. It's like, oh, I'm just paying for nursing school.
Yeah. They're up there
It's like,
stripping, but thinking about, I got to do my laundry and like that's more what it's really like. But yeah, you respect to those workers. I'm not shaming them.
Yeah.
If it's consensual,
totally.
it is. I don't have a problem with consensual activity. In fact, I think it should be regulated more. There should be more legal acts like that, so it doesn't go into this weird, the dangerous places. It's like weed to me. Like
more protection. It needs to be more protection.
But like in Vegas, there's brothels and they're safe as hell. From what I watched that 60 Minutes special about it. And they talk about how it's safer because you add those regulations. Without them, then you have to go do it in the alleyways, and then people get hurt. And anyway, there's a lot to be said. But and I didn't even mean to try to say that about her, like she's lying because she's an act, whatever. I'm just saying we all should have some empathy, understand where she's coming from. But where she's coming from could also explain why she's good at telling the stories. I honestly, I don't know where to go. She seemed very believable to me, is what I'll say.
All right, so let me ask the question. Is it possible that, because it's Adria, right? But I don't want us to mix the two. There's Adria and then there's Lamisha.
Right.
And so is it possible that Adria's story is, I mean, I believe certain parts of her story, but I think that, Lamisha being introduced to this does shaking the things up a little bit for me. And I'm trying to understand the why behind it. So we don't get the two, mixed up or confused. These are two different people that are alleging to have been Diddy victims. So I think that's the piece that it just makes it kind of hard, and for me, Lamisha specifically, there's a lot to it. And she's out here defending herself now, going back and forth. So it just kind of concerns me a little bit for her too, that she's having to do a lot of that on her own now.
Yeah, I mean, Misha, I guess I have a question back. Should I have Misha on?
That's up to you.
Well, chat, you two, what do you think?
Let me make a poll. I'll make a poll.
Adria asked me, and she said, we talked about it. She's like, let's just see how this does. Should I follow up and try to get Misha on to answer some of these questions? Is that too aggressive? What do you guys think? Because I don't want to be out there trying to, attack alleged victims. That's not at all what the goal is. But
right, exactly. I'm making a poll for you right now. Should Andy have Misha on? Yes, no. Okay. Let's see. Y'all vote in the poll. Andy wants to know, should he have Misha on?
Just no, based on the please no. Yes, absolutely. It's all over the place.
It's 67% yes right now, 65% yes. So let's get a few votes in here on the poll. Because I did like an actual poll, so it's going to tell us how many votes and things. But y'all hear us, right? Like how it's like, what do you know? We want to be transparent. We want to have the people on. I'm looking for Mims's email address right now. If someone can tell me how to send him the link.
He ignores my emails. What's up with that, Mims?
I don't know. I like him.
I know. I like him
feel
too.
He's my cousin.
From what I've gathered, because I am a fan of Mims, he stays out of drama.
Oh, oops.
He's like the little swiper. He pays attention, doesn't he? And then
he's coming through here. I came across.
Yeah.
I came across
respect
his
the hell out of
coverage
that,
of
so.
Bling. Bling. He
does a great job exposing. Shout out to Mims. I mean, I'm just amazed. Like there was one specific. I think it was when the Kalina Harper and Don Richard situation was going down. I mean, he was really good at calling some of that out, and the way that he does it was amazing. So I have a lot of respect for Mims. Shout out to Mims.
He's in the chat right now. I'm trying to send him the link so he can come on. So Andy, so far right now, there's 545 votes and it's 70% yes, you should have her on.
It's going to ultimately, just know if you don't see her on, they passed based on how the other one did. So just take that as you will. But if she's willing or offered, I'm not going to press it. If they follow up and they want to do it, then I will have it. But I'm not going to like go, everyone think, yeah, go get it. No, I like to, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, BJ. That's how I handle it.
Yeah, just like the Florida Georgia Line song or whatever.
I will say we just taped Tatiana, not I would say Tatiana, Natanya.
Yeah, I love her. She was.
We just did a really long 3-parter with her where she tells the whole story, new details, reacts to Shine. It's going to drop because I banked some stuff this week for the holiday. She is so lovely, and I will tell you, I believe her 1,000,000%. She did not seem to believe Misha afterwards. That was telling also.
You know what's interesting, Andy, is that you still have people that are trying to discredit Natanya. I don't know how you can. Like, I don't understand. How can you discredit
the same thing this whole
time?
Her story has always been consistent. Shout out to Natanya.
She's amazing, and I fully believe her. There's no doubt in my mind about her. She's probably one of the only people in this space that I would say I trust 100%.
And everyone her story else, has 90%, not changed.
Whatever, but she's a real. And the other one I really like, BJ, is also coming on the channel, so go subscribe. Big Homie, he seems like another really good dude out there trying to protect women in these clubs and so on. He's a celebrity bodyguard. He came in and revealed and talked about being drugged, nearly being poisoned. And Jamie Foxx, it's a crazy one. So there's a lot of juicy stuff coming. But yeah, the Adria part 2 is
that coming out. I need to mark my calendar.
All this week. You're gonna get it all this week. So Adria part 2, and then we got Natanya, and then we got Big Homie. My interview series is taking off. I'm excited. They're all trying to come in. So we're trying to keep that going. So thank you everybody who's been watching. And BJ, you're amazing. Rabbit, love you know I got both your backs always. You two are like some of the best people out there. Always grinding, always doing amazing content. I remember Rabbit from way back in the day. You were always helpful, and I'm so glad you're still on it, doing your thing. You're awesome. And BJ, you know how I feel. You're the real deal.
Oh, thanks, Andy. Well, we have 705 votes in the poll. It's 71% wants you to interview her. So I think, there's that. If you were whatever that's worth. And like you said, if she doesn't come on, then we know why.
Well, I didn't say it that way. But,
well, you said if she doesn't come on, it's because they
and they didn't like they didn't like, not that she's lying, but they didn't like the reaction.
All right. Make it make sense. Oh my God, Mims in the chat. Oh my God, All-Star Hall of Fame.
There he is. What's up? What a panel.
Hi. I have not been ignoring you, Popcorn Planet. Honestly, I definitely.
Good. Dude, no disrespect. I know you like to. Honestly, I'm a huge fan. I didn't actually know you. Kim then filled me in because I don't always get a chance to watch everybody. And then I just got so sucked in because as I wrote you, and I'll say it publicly because I got nothing to hide. I just love how you look at stuff. You look at it so fairly and objectively, like a BJ, like a Rabbit. There's very few of us who we're not in it for the salate. Everyone thinks I'm clickbait. Yes, I clickbait a little bit because you gotta
be putting them all caps.
But I try to align myself with the people who are really trying to get to the truth and are good people. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You're a good actor like some of these people, but I got a sense you're a real one. So keep it up, dude. And yeah, hit me up anytime. I'd love to have you on too. All you guys, come on.
No, yeah, it's not that I would, but I'm not gonna lie. It kind of got circus-like. And what I did not want to do was in any way, I don't know. It's definitely not you. I've been watching all of you guys. I definitely know Rabbit.
Hi, Mims.
All the different like neuron connection points right there with all our different topics we've covered.
It was a lot, and to be honest with you, I feel almost close to the situation, uncomfortably so, because I'm always talking to survivors now. I've connected with some of the people close to this situation, and I always want to put forth like my best foot to, speak on the part of the survivor. I have not done a video for 5 days because I've not felt right about
Wow.
this stuff.
I feel it too. I do. I feel an uneasiness about this situation. And this is a big, I don't know how much of this you've watched. But it was like, I was asking before even anybody else came on, my own audience, like, do y'all see like the weird position it puts like a content creator in? Cause it's like, do we talk about it? To what point are we contributing to this circus? That I definitely do think there is like a circus like atmosphere, and it can happen with a lot of these stories where it's like, now what happened with the Scientology stuff, where it's like at first we're talking about don't put the kids in the Scientology to get S abused, and then by the end of it we talking about somebody's cheating on his wife and they got an open marriage, and it's like, wait, what in the hell? How did we end up over there? Why are we talking about that? And I have felt like that way with that story too. I was like, I got to back off from this. I got to get away, because it's like everybody in your inbox, everybody trying to get on. And then it's like, if you don't pay them, then it's this, it's like politics. And it's like, I got into this, like you said, Mims, to amplify the stories of the people that were there and survived it, and to maybe hopefully get some justice for people. And that's, I don't know. It's like, what do you do? I don't know. It's a conundrum, because what is our job even? It's like a brand new thing that we're pioneering, I guess, in a way. So it's difficult. And that's why I wanted to have this panel, because I wanted to hear y'all's thoughts on this stuff too, and like how y'all are dealing with it, and what you and be transparent to the audience as well. It's like, there's definitely no rule book. Mr. Beast didn't write us one up, unfortunately.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Beast. He got in trouble with like his rule book got leaked where he said no doesn't mean no. And
I want to say two things. First, we're in a space now where people believe victims.
Totally.
So where you don't want to fall is on the side of someone who discredits a victim.
Absolutely.
And that puts everyone in an awkward, weird situation, because if you discredit a victim, now you're part of the problem. Where, I don't know if you guys saw my video, but where I took umbrage with Adria, I hope I'm saying that right, was when she mentioned Diddy's daughters, the underage girls. And to me, I actually called and paid for my therapist. I talked to my therapist about this before I went live, and I was like, wow, what would this be considered re-victimizing a victim? Because if you weren't there to see it, they have not come forward to say it, and whomever told you did not tell the authorities. Where do we go with that? And once you say something like Diddy took advantage of his underage daughters, that's now out there for the world. And I did not feel right about saying it. I got some pushback on it because they were like, he might have, and it's Diddy. And I said, I never put anything past Diddy. I'm acutely aware that Diddy's a demon. However, those girls are innocent. And if they have not told their story, whether a victim is telling it or not, it's not okay. I paid for my therapy session to talk about this. Because
and there's so many different things too. Like, for example, the picture of the girl on the sushi table, right? Like, before they were telling us that was allegedly somebody 13 years old.
Sorry to interrupt, BJ. Sorry.
Gotta run.
Pay attention. You have a special guest coming in.
Who is it?
Stay tuned. There was one person I thought this panel was missing.
Oh, thank God. I wonder who it could. Is it Lionel B? Oh Lord, who is it?
This person? Hold on.
I don't know. We're gonna have
oh my God.
It's not a bad surprise.
It might be a dog.
Just keep your eyes peeled.
Okay. Yeah, but that's really where I take issue. If it's your story to tell, I think every victim should be allowed to tell a story. But it was the thought of those little girls not having their mom, and now the world thinks or knows that they were taken advantage of by their dad, and we don't know that to be true, I don't know what to do with that, but I would not be me if I did not bring that up.
I
Right.
know what you mean. It's hard to know what to bring up. And especially whenever it comes to, oh, is it Natanya? Oh my God. Natanya Rubin is here. Okay. Hello. Hello. Welcome.
Okay, I'm not nervous anymore.
Have you all know each other?
Yes, we do know.
I was like, I saw her in the chat. I was like literally thinking, who else would I love to see here? There she is.
Yes. Oh my God. You were in the chat. I called you earlier too. Did you get my voicemail?
She's muted.
Oh, you muted.
Muted. Natanya.
Sorry,
So
guys.
I can Natanya, everybody on this stream is a good one, as you should know. But yeah, please, if you need to connect any of them, let me know.
Someone in
Please.
your chat said it's not someone else's story to write. It's not somebody else's story to tell. If you know it firsthand, then I would, because they're minors, go somewhere.
Y'all all-star gang.
Oh my goodness.
What's up?
Wow, all-star cast.
What's up, my man?
Wow. What up?
This is like all stars, BJ.
Yeah,
You just
seriously.
pulled together.
What's up?
Let's do a thumbnail picture, everyone.
Thank God I don't have a booger hanging out my nose. I mean, shoot, you just
You
threw me
better
back
wipe
up
it.
on
You
here
better
fast.
wipe it up right now if you do. Go
What-
off camera. Welcome,
What's
welcome.
up?
Careful, BJ. You're giving Sean Atwood run for his money.
Oh no, I could never compete with the OG. No. This is this is a family gathering for the holidays type
Oh
of
my
moment. You know
goodness.
what I mean? So I want to give Natanya a moment, and then the Pascal show just joined us. We've been also playing YouTuber phone tag for like 4 or 5 days. Like, are you going live? Are you going live? Are you going live? We're going live at the exact same time. Me and Rabbit are live at the same time all the time too. Only thing we're missing in here, where's Sean Davy Way? I mean, we're live at the same time.
Where's
all the time too.
Sean?
Love him. I call him my YouTube brother, my YouTube cousin. Okay, so I want to let Natanya, well, you've been in here. What are some of your thoughts on, just anything that you wanted to say based on like what we were just talking about, or really the floor is all yours?
So first and foremost, as a victim, I want to say thank you to all of you for doing responsible journalism, making sure you provide a platform for people to speak and have their say when sometimes the mainstreams don't offer that to us, but also doing so in a kind and empathetic way. It means the world. It
Thank
means
you.
the world, and I appreciate you all for that. I think probably the first person I spoke to out of this whole crew was Mims when this first happened, and he was so kind and so gentle, and just I appreciate it. I truly do. Pascal and Rabbit, I haven't had the opportunity to speak to you guys, but I watch all of you. I watch.
Oh my God.
I will say,
YouTube gold right here.
Natanya, I have reached out to you.
I know. I got your email. I got
Yeah.
you.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure it went to the
I
right
just had
place. You know what I'm saying?
to know you better, but absolutely, you do a remarkable job as well, and I thank
Thank you.
So,
that's-
go ahead,
But,
Natanya.
we were saying to Tanya, first of all, I just talked to her, Kim and I, she's the best person I can say, like out of all, and I said it before you even were here, of all this circus as it's becoming, you're the one I trust the most and you really were a survivor. But BJ's asking, and I'm curious too, like the circus, these people, I know you don't like to rat people out, but what do we do as content creators when we're noticing something's off?
Yeah.
we
Great
do?
question.
I think the best thing you can do, like, of course, you guys preface it by saying the views expressed on this channel are solely those of the contributor and not representative of the show. And then it's okay to challenge people on things. It's okay. I do understand that people are victims and have been victimized. What I think is happening is it's turning into a sensationalist type of thing. And like I was talking to Andy about, I watched this happen 20 something years ago during my trial.
Tell him what you said about that, actually, because when I had you on, I wanted you to talk about this specifically. You saw the media manipulation already 20 years ago in this way, right?
And there was no social media. So it was the hip hop magazines, the radio stations, the urban radio market, the media, the mainstream media, newspapers, and he would have his street team literally on the stream with massive signs walking around saying, hey, free Diddy, or, let him go, and he's a good black man and all that stuff. And it was a circus. I watched those people manipulated, and that's why I had a love-hate relationship with social media for so long. It took me a long time to come into the fray because I was viral before there was something called viral, and it wasn't a nice feeling.
Right.
So I love that you guys handle people with care. If you have questions and something doesn't pass the smell test, it's okay to press people like, hey, here's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What do you have to say about this? There seems to be contradictions, and give them the opportunity to express. Now, it's not lost on me also that victimized people oftentimes have a hard time expressing themselves. Sometimes trauma, sometimes they're uneducated, undereducated, things like that. And then there's an intimidation with speaking to someone who does public speaking regularly. So some people can, whenever there feels like there's an authoritarian in the room, people, kind of shrug down. The difference with me is I'm no shrinking violet. I'm an old tough Brooklyn girl, but I have the ability to communicate, and I do so with ease, and it makes it easier for me, but it doesn't mitigate anything anybody else has been through or make it less important. And I always want to reference that, like, their story's not less important. For me on my platform, I came out with the follow-up video because I don't need exacerbations, exaggerations, hyperbole, and untruths. Just tell me the truth.
Yes.
Just tell me the truth. I can't allow anybody to use my platform for anything other than the truth. So that's why I said what I said.
Agreed. I feel the same way. And sometimes there is a knee-jerk reaction to want to maybe like, oh, Mims went away. Maybe a knee-jerk reaction to maybe me even, right? Like want to make an excuse like, well, maybe it's, maybe she didn't remember, or maybe she, this and that. But it's like, no, at some point, like there's factual discrepancies. And if our loyalty has, lies with the truth, then you have to keep going to get to the truth. And when there's different facts, then you haven't gotten to the truth yet, in my opinion. And so it does feel, Mim said it. I don't know, maybe he got disconnected. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he had to run. But he said it earlier, like nobody wants to be discrediting a victim. It's like, I think all of us have been through things in our life that would be, different levels, different various. And it's like, we all know what it feels like to not be believed whenever something bad happened. And then you take that and amplify it to the highest degrees by the biggest people, and really no one ever believes you. And then you're being attacked and stalked and all this stuff. And it's like, who am I to say somebody's not telling the truth? But that, like, there's different factual allegations, and it's like, what's the true story? Because it matters. It matters what happened. It's hard.
It is. It's difficult. And here's one other thing I will say to that end. Traumatized people sometimes don't get it out right. Sometimes, and I'm not going to ever say that these women were not victimized. What I'll say is, while I know they were victimized to some degree, as with any journalistic approach to telling a story, we cannot either confirm or deny until there are more reputable facts, and that's it. But I won't disavow them. I will just simply say, I invite anybody to speak to me, because I don't ever talk about the details of the story. What I talk about is, who are you? Who would you want to be when you grew up? What do you think led you off the rails? Where do you see your future? I always try to focus future forward, future focusing. And so when I'm humanizing you and giving you a platform by which people can see you as a human and not as a caricature of yourself, all I ask is that you just be honest with me. And that's it.
Thoughts, everyone else?
Pascal?
I do have to head out, but BJ, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for coming.
Pascal, Mims, the dopest nerd, and Tanya, shout out to you, Andy. I will see you guys. Okay, you guys have a great one.
Stay
bye.
blessed.
Bye.
So Pascal, have you come into any of these kind of conundrums, like not knowing what to talk about, not wanting to take a certain stance? Like, could you speak to how you, as a content creator, have dealt with some of this dynamics and some of these considerations lately?
I think that's the main issue for a lot of whenever you hear anyone's, a victim's account on anything. Because of course, we all have a heart. We all care. We all don't want to be rude or mean or be naysayers or victim blame or anything of that sort. So yeah, it can be really tough, especially when you're listening to these interviews and sometimes they seem to go off the rails with the details and you're going, wait a second, hold up, pause for a second. what was just said there? Because that doesn't make sense. So there's certain things that you have to keep in mind, keep that in the back of your mind. It's very easy for us to just jump down their throats and say, hey, you're lying, you're full of ish and whatever it is, and so for me, that's the toughest part, because we're all logical people. We all think independently and critically. Most of us do, at least. And, I think it's really tough when you hear pieces of information and you go, wait a second, that timeline ain't timelining so much now. But I still have to err on the side of being sensitive and understanding that this is what somebody went through, and how they're talking about it, how they speak about it, the vibrations that are coming out of them. It gives a certain vibe of, man, they went through something. Whether it's completely accurate or not, they went through something here, and it's intense. And I know that might upset a few people when I say this, but maybe it's not the internet that they should be expressing their feelings towards. Maybe it's going to a professional and working those things out. Not to say that they're not going to those professionals, but instantly I'm thinking, to speak on those things is pretty intense. And yeah, it'd be nice if hopefully they are talking to or have some sort of support system for these individuals. So yeah, it's tough because, like I said, yeah, I have a good time on my show. I'm silly, but I stick with the facts. I try to stick with the facts as best as I can, talk about what's going on in this particular case. But then when you start listening to the victims' testimonies, when they speak out, yeah, there's a lot of push and pull, because of course the logic side of you, the practical side of you, wants to jump on it and go, wait, technically you didn't say that before, now you're saying something different. So yeah,
right.
It's
especially because, like, for me, that's my whole thing. My whole thing is like, let's look at the court documents, let's look at the public record, let's compare, and let's do a little matchy match. And a lot of times it's like, P. Diddy or Donald Trump or someone who, like, it doesn't matter if I'm offending that person, they probably deserve it or something. But then it's like, okay, now it's someone alleging to be a victim who has pictures of inside of a recording studio with Diddy. Like, this is definitely somebody who knew Diddy. And then it's like, okay, so then what? It's like a different uncharted, territory or whatever. But I mean, all of that being said, like, I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to have as much empathy and sympathy as I can. But ultimately, my loyalty, like I keep on saying, it's got to be with the truth. Right. What we're trying to figure out the truth is. So I'm trying to be as respectful as possible getting to that. I don't think you have to be a bull in a china cabinet type of thing.
Yeah. But I also say this too. I think there's a respectful way that you can approach the questions or ask the questions. I think there's a way that you can ask the questions without just attacking or victim blaming as well. You see what I'm saying? Because, some other people will be like, she lying, she capped the entire time. And it's like, right. Wait a second. How about just ask the questions? If you got the questions, just ask the questions. But just do it in a respectful manner. You see what I'm saying? Instead of just attacking them, because you never know. They, it could be 110% the truth. Yeah,
I mean, I wrestled with that because I was constantly trying to figure out, what do I ask Adria? And then Adria's like, do you want to talk to Misha? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk to Misha yet. It's a tough balance. But I also wanted to say, Pascal, good to see you. It's been forever. Pascal is the real deal. I see you grinding, my man. I've been meaning to reach out because you've been hitting the same stories. And I don't talk to anybody these days unless I'm going to book the interview. But shout out to you, my man. You've always been so good to us. And I'm really excited for what you're doing. And yeah, we got to get you on sometime. Let me know if you want to join the conversation.
I'm always down, man. Just send me a DM, and it'll go down. Just say when, bro. I'm down.
We're going to do it. And
then, so I do want to.
Sorry. So the electrician is changing out the breaker in my studio, but they are not doing any work in the house. So that's what happened.
I was like, maybe he hates us. Maybe he's coming right back. We'll find out.
Literally, if you look, the lights went out.
I saw. I was like, is this a CGI?
No. So
I thought it was like a new feature on StreamYard. I was like, damn, you could actually dim the. Oh, damn! I was like, look,
Delgado ring light went out.
Can you remove yourself from the StreamYard, BJ, and still hear everybody?
Can I remove myself?
Well, because I'm just debating if I buy StreamYard instead of Zoom, and I'm sorry to make everyone have this tech question. Can we hear you still?
I think
no, definitely. She's just removing herself from the stream.
No, but now she can't talk.
No, audio you can't hear. Yeah, no, you
Because
can't.
I want to use it as my guests, like for my guest feed. But you have to have your box in there. Is what the reality is.
Well, did y'all hear me just now?
No.
Okay, so I'm not buying the Black Friday deal for StreamYard because I need to use it for guests, and on Zoom you can hide self, but you can't do that on here, I guess.
There's a Black Friday deal for StreamYard? Man,
Yeah.
I'm about to delete my whole thing, start a whole thing all over again so I can get it on the free 99.
Get on it. Get on it.
Damn.
No, it didn't work. Sorry. Thank you I was just curious because I was literally about to buy it. I'm like, wait, we're on StreamYard. Does it work? It doesn't work.
What? Oh, so you have to
You
still
have
be
to.
on the
If I want to have
screen.
you guys as my guest panel box, like I do on my Zoom, that icon's going to be there, which is just annoying. They
Yeah.
should have a hide self like Zoom, and then I'd be
Andy,
all
I
on it.
guarantee you, if you email them and tell them you're not getting the Black Friday deal because of that, they will have
StreamYard
that
has all those
feature
nice
fixed.
features. I'd love to have it in there, but yeah. Anyway, all right. Thank you for humoring me. Sorry, I do have to get going because I want to sit here and talk for hours, but I got to get prepped for holiday travel. But I just wanted to thank you for watching the video, spreading the word as always. BJ, you are the best. You are always pursuing. Guys, I know you all know because you're subscribed to her, but I just like to lift her up. She is afraid of no one.
Nothing and
love that
nobody.
about BJ. She is fearless. Like all these years, you fight back against some scary people, girl, and you always do it with strength and dignity and class. And I hope you know I'm such a big fan. I'm so always in your corner as you're just crushing it. That I take massive pride and excitement when I see you succeeding. So you keep it up, dude. You're the best.
Thanks, Andy. I really appreciate that. I'm just being
Natalia,
out
I just
here
gave you a love
fighting.
fest on my show. They'll see it on the channel. So subscribe to it, dude. Pascal, please reconnect with me. I'm sorry I lost touch. I love what you're doing. You're the best. And Mims, don't block me. I'm a good dude. I like what you're doing. Mims, for real, you are keeping it honest too. Like I really appreciate your take. So anytime you want to come in, even if we just have a you and me chat just about the circus, I think that'd be fun for the chat. So hit me back anytime. Love you all, chat. Subscribe to all these amazing people. Enjoy your chat. I'm gonna go get
I love all the
family.
unity between YouTube content.
This is a good crew. I like being here. This is a good crew. We gotta do this again. We should help each other. Let's do it on each other's channels.
That's how it should be.
Hit us up. Can we do a group chat, group text? Let's do it once a week. We show up on each other's channel and have a Diddy come to Jesus. Sign me up. I'm in.
Lord, once a week, girl.
That's a lot of work, man. That's a lot of work.
Let me know. All right, bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, safe travel.
Okay, bye.
I'm glad that we're having this conversation. Natanya and I talked recently.
Oh, word. Okay.
I'm glad that she spoke tonight because when I texted her a couple days ago, it was actually about this topic. So I'm glad that we spoke in regards to that. I do want to say, how do you feel about the fact that there are so many more people in this sphere that believe victims?
It is refreshing. It is refreshing, especially having walked this truth-telling journey for 25 years and to have had aspersions cast upon me and my integrity, challenged. It was insulting. There was no justifiable reason for insulting my integrity other than the fact that the guilty people didn't want their guilt to be highlighted. So to see people wholesale believing victims and allowing it the time to play itself out, it means the world to me. It's all is well with my soul. I promise you. For far too long, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, what is wrong with people? Like, I understand the dichotomy between hero worship and people wanting to believe that a wealthy person who has all of the assets and things attached to his life that would give him a great life would not do something so reckless. But we live in this world. Look at what history has shown us. Some of the most reckless acts in the world are done by people who should not absolutely do them.
And you know what, too, Natanya? Like for me, whenever I was hearing the allegations against Diddy, there was also this other component of like the criminal justice system being racist, like and unfairly kind of like having these consequences against like Black men specifically. So for me, it was like literally not until Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs sat in front of his own phone camera and put on his own Instagram. I am sorry for that behavior that I finally was like, that was Diddy in the video. Y'all, you can go back and watch. I watched him chase Cassie down the hall like a freaking predator and go, I don't know if that's Diddy. It looks like him. I don't know. It could not be him, because I didn't want to be unfairly accusing someone who might just look like Diddy. Now I'm the racist white lady who said that the man who kind of resembled Diddy was Diddy beating somebody, and it wasn't. And like, I've said that to my platform. So I said it, and some of my audience is like, girl, that is Diddy, please. And I'm like, I don't know. And then he finally came out.
The system is also classist.
Totally.
If you're not wealthy and you don't have this wheelhouse of reserves to be able to hire the best attorneys and your publicists simultaneously to shift the narrative and do revisionist, comment hit pieces, you lose out. Because like I brought up and highlighted to Andy today, and I highlighted on another interview I did, just look at it took for a netizen to hit me up and say, how come only Shine has a mugshot? What about J-Lo and Puffy's? Why isn't it a real mugshot? J-Lo is standing in front of a bulletin board. Puffy's standing in front of a concrete wall. They both had on t-shirts. Now, you're not going to tell me two of the richest people at Christmas time came out in some old raggedy t-shirts. The fix was in from the get-go. Somebody gave them t-shirts to put on to hide their party attire and to try to shift the narrative. So when people came out and said, oh, I saw him, he had on this, somebody would revert back to the mugshot and say, well, no, he had on a gray t-shirt. You think Mr. Shiny Suit himself wore an old gray t-shirt to a nightclub at Christmas time?
No.
I've been trying to tell people, pointing these things out for 25 years, where people was like, well, he could have wore that. Are you? And so J-Lo did. Come on. But people didn't want to hear it. Thank God we have a situation where people can hear it now and are willing to. And I'm just so sorry that no one listened to me back then, because had somebody listened 25 years ago, there wouldn't be a Cassie getting kicked in the face video. There wouldn't be one. And all of these people, whether we believe these people were victimized or not, they would not exist. There would be no potential for 120, civil lawsuits if someone just listened to me. So
you're so right. Like, if you think about that butterfly effect in 1999 or 2001 or whatever, where it's like, no, Sean P. Diddy Combs goes to jail for this, or prison or whatever. It's like, wow, what a different world we live in today.
What a different world. What a different world.
Wow.
I tried to tell people, it wasn't lost on me, especially back then.
Wow. Yeah, just all of it, even pop culture, like shows, artists, record labels, like the progeny that boosted from him from after that. And then also, it was before that he had that basketball game, people got crushed to death.
And I tried to highlight that for people years ago too. That basketball game was December 28th, 1991. Years later, he shot me December 27th, 1999. Who's that lucky to have a day apart?
Don't forget Burroughs. Don't forget he hit Burroughs with the bat and took all of his bad boy.
His whole half of the company.
Think about the dates. A day apart.
It's like they do stuff on dates. Like they like dates.
And so it's not lost on me.
And
it's like their rituals.
The girlfriend who he allegedly beat in the quad of the college after he dropped out to start working in promotion. It's so like Aaron Hernandez, where you get away with one thing small, and then that just kind of, it's like a ripple effect until you're just, massacring people on the side of the road and playing in a major league football game the next day and getting praised. It's absolute power and money corrupts. Absolute power and money corrupts. And this is a prime example.
I know you guys probably have already asked this question already or touched on this subject already, but do you think, and I mean, of course, everybody around the room, do you think that he's going to be granted bail?
So I think the feds have the purview of hindsight being 2020 and seeing how in my trial, the witness list had to be released to the other side, and they eviscerated every one of the witnesses, paid them off. Because if you watch the Proffer podcast, he interviewed the two lead detectives from 1999, Joe Sweeney and Artie Cadigan. They said unequivocally in their talks with the DA, he interviewed, they interviewed everybody outside of the club. because they wanted to preserve their statements so that people could not change their statements later. 350 people that said, oh yeah, we saw them shoot the gun. How have 350 people stayed quiet for 25 years other than being paid off?
Or got.
Yeah.
The club,
You know?
New York City nightclub, a New York City nightclub.
Or were promised to stay at one of the houses for the white party. That's all it might take.
Well, and I know people were paid off. And here's the saddest part of all. How do you feel, any of those people who were paid off? I keep saying, come to the front of the room. We need to have a discussion, because the jurors, where are they? You're going to be no juror, no party goer, nobody for 25 years. What on earth? Have you ever heard a bunch of people stay that silent? Never. It doesn't make sense. They were paid off. So if they give out this witness list, they are jeopardizing all of the potential witnesses, victims, or anyone who could come and add to the lexicon. The feds have the purview of being retroactively looking back and seeing how things turned out. Not the least of which is all of the video footage that they extracted from his house. He loves to collect video footage. Look in that vault and find the video footage for the nightclub shooting. Because if he paid $100,000 for Cassie's video, what did he pay for him firing a gun in a nightclub?
You think they had security cameras in there?
I'm certain of it. When I was led through this passageway where we were trying to escape the club, and we were in this dark corridor, I had already been shot. This man walked up behind me and tapped me on my shoulder. And when I turned back and looked, I saw his face. The guy who owned the club, he had brothers and cousins. They all looked alike, the Burgos family. When I saw this man who tapped my shoulder, he looked like one of them. Sir, 30 people have run through this corridor. Why did you tap me? You only tapped me because you saw me on the video camera and you knew it was me. And the netizens sincerely think they were coming to finish me off. But whatever reason, he tapped me and said, follow me. We heard another loud, bum, whatever the situation was. It sounded like something slamming to the floor, whatever. It could have been a chair that fell. But it was so loud and so sudden, it scared him too. And he ran off and he left me. Why did you come tap me? Where were you leading me to?
That's the Lord pushed that chair over.
Oh, listen, I guarantee there's a video. And
Oh, man.
I bet it's in that, 96 terabytes? Show can't wait till that comes out.
That's going to be wild if, shoot.
They've been trying to get Diddy.
Huh?
I don't know if he's going to get bail, but there is a network of survivors. And I can tell you that they are absolutely fearful.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I cannot say, but I can tell you that they are absolutely fearful of him getting out. And it changed my perspective. That's when I feel like I got really involved, because people, we who are not, and not, of course, not you, Natanya, but for those of us who talk about it, it is a story, it's a complaint, it's something that you feel strongly about, but it's different when you feel like somebody might come up to you and do something to you. And when I reported that people had been hacked, that was very true. Absolutely true. So it's this fear. I hope and I pray that this man does not get bail, because a lot of people coming forward is contingent upon him being in jail and not being able to actively put his hands on them. So it's real, it's scary, and it would be the worst thing for him to get out before this trial.
And you know who's being left out of the fray? And I don't know why, because I keep pointing her out. When you said the people were hacked, I've been telling people that since 2015. They started hacking me in 2015. It came out once all of the Cassie lawsuit and all the other information came out. Kim started getting hacked in 2015 too. He hired a cybersecurity expert to hack into Kim's stuff so he could monitor everything she did and follow everything she said. That cybersecurity expert is the woman who gave him this last child. Why is she being left out of the fray? The woman is a cybersecurity expert.
She has to hold the camera for the baby while they sing happy birthday.
Yeah.
No doubt.
She's a videographer now. And now that is on the do not contact list.
That part, what he said.
2015. And you got to be something diabolical to want to give a baby to this man that you've watched do all this stuff since 2015. Like, what measure of woman is that?
It's
Money.
very confusing.
Money.
Well, she is. That's the crazy part. She has,
Crazy.
she has money. She was the only female and the youngest person on this major cybersecurity team in was it like San Francisco?
Mhm.
She has like all of the credentials, which is really scary.
Maybe she's like a handler. Maybe she's like a Corey Gambler type or whatever.
Could be.
Well, she wanted a little bit of fame. So one of her best friends was one of like, I think the girls on like Vanderpump Rules. So there's times where you might see her and she's very pretty. So you know, she has the career, she has the look, but Diddy provided something else, which would be fame. Please don't hack me.
Listen,
No, y'all can hack me, ain't nothing to get.
the hacking is too real because I'm gonna tell you something. I had one of my girlfriends pray on the live that day. I was overcome when I was speaking to Misha. I became very overcome, and she was praying, and I promise you, she got off the phone, and her son called me in the middle of the night from Facebook Messenger. He's like, my mom is sitting here saying she's been hacked. They shut her entire phone down because she prayed on my live. Phone didn't come back on for another. I spoke to her 2 days afterwards. She was like, "Oh my God, am I safe?" She was so concerned about her safety.
Wow.
And I was like, "You're safe." They want to, anybody who stands in the gap with or for me or speaks on behalf of the survivors, they want to mess with you. They've harassed me for 25 years. And
Have you got
intermittent.
Go ahead.
No, it was intermittent, but October 7th, somebody stole my license
Your license plate?
off of my car.
Oh, hell no.
Mean it?
So what do you have to do? Then you have to just call and report that? Or I mean, what does it mean?
I ended up going straight to, so I went back into the establishment. I went to Barnes and Nobles. As you know, I'm an author, A Shot in the Dark, where you buy your books.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Link it down below. Yes.
But I went back into Barnes and Nobles and I said, "Hey, can I look at your cameras?" Somebody stole the license plate off of my car from the time I parked and came in. They started looking at their surveillance. They said, "Where your car is situated, we cannot see the back." This is how masterful they are. And they have minions that do their bidding. They will set somebody on you to follow you. Like, it's just, I've endured this for 25 years, so I'm not afraid of them. I've never been afraid of them, and that disturbs them. But, you know, you guys can read between the lines. Like I always say, I'm a Second Amendment American, and Lottie Dottie, she liked to party. She don't cause trouble, and she don't bother nobody, but she's always ready.
Won't start none, won't be none, as they say.
There you go. Once in a lifetime is enough for me.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
There you go.
Facts.
There you go. But
I definitely believe in standing my ground, especially at my home and in my house in effects. That is for sure.
Like, it's literally, it sounds comical, but it's really that serious. And I imagine survivors who endured all of that, dealt with the terror firsthand, and are not Second Amendment people. What do? By the time
they don't have access to anybody who wouldn't put them on, tell their story. Like, they could say it, maybe 3-5 people might see it, and then some of that's their family that's saying, "Shut up."
Listen, I went through it. People told me for years, "Let it go. Why you keep talking? Just give it up." I'm like, I can't. People don't get it. If you were pow in your face, you couldn't give it either.
Facts.
Trust me.
Yeah, how are you gonna be scared of somebody's comment online when you went through that? I mean, yeah, no, seriously. I commend you. I obviously am so sorry that you went through that. And I know that it's certainly changed your life after, you know, it's probably like the before times and then the after, you know, that moment. And I know that you described like a near-death experience. At least that's kind of how I interpreted it to mean. If you wanted to talk a little bit about that, you don't have to. I mean, that was one of the things I found very compelling about one of the, what was his name? Show two something too
strong.
Too strong. You were talking about like the kind of like you felt yourself, but like you felt the air pass through you, and it's like you were saying that stuff. I got hot, I got cold, I got chills, and it was just like, I know that happened, you know, like, wow. And it's like, if you want to talk about it a little bit, it was powerful.
Well, so when the bullet, as they started reversing back to the front door, what they were doing, you've seen movies, urban movies, whatever, where someone is about to fire a shot, they will create distance between themselves and the party they're aiming at. Now, in all their thuggery, nobody's a good shot.
They need to get down to the range.
The person you got a beef with, why do 2 innocent bystanders get shot? outside instead of the person you're aiming at.
Hmm.
So, there's that. But they were reversing back to the door to create distance. And I would think a head start on an escape route after they fired the shots. And up until they fired the shots, I still thought they would be willing to fight. It was back in the 1900s where people still...
They would scrap.
I thought that they would scrap. But once they pulled the guns, and I told my friend, oh my God, watch out. I looked back and instantly the muzzle flashed. They both fired their guns. Pow, pow. And one was slightly higher and one was a little lower. The higher one was further away from me, was closer to the bar, in line sight of Julius Jones, that Shine shot in the shoulder and admitted on the Combat Jack podcast that he shot in the shoulder. The lower one was Puffy's and it shot me in the face. And here's just something to illustrate. Julius Jones is 6 feet something. Shine is in his, I think, about 6 feet. He shot him, the higher one caught him in the shoulder. The reason the lower one caught me in my face is because I'm significantly shorter. I'm 5'8.5".
You know why they didn't fight? We don't know what they were on.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know what kind of habits, we'll just say, people have.
Okay.
So we
you
don't
got
know.
Dexterity to fight. You're right. I didn't even... But so they fired the shots, and instantly, when the door opened and that rush of cold, if you've ever watched Star Trek, there's when they say "Beam me up, Scotty," when they go to the little teletransportation pods and they start to pixelate and separate. That is what my body felt like.
Yes.
Instantly,
That has happened to me before. That what you're describing, that feeling, not from being shot in the face by P. Diddy, but it was a different thing. But like, that's why when you said that,
yeah,
your body started to pixelate and you could like feel yourself becoming detached from like your own, like whatever you is, like that has happened to me before. And it's like a very intense experience. Actually, I would consider that to be the moment that I became not atheist, right? Like I was raised in church and stuff. And then it was like, how sometimes it can just be used to dogmatic control, and stuff. And so I kind of rejected all of it. And then I had this experience where it was like that. It was like the beam me up, Scotty. And I just kind of pixelated into nothing and everything at the same time. And I was like, I guess I'm dead. But it's not that bad. Like it kind of is this like kind of nice. Like it was like I was one with God. It was like very trippy. I mean, it was so totally that. But it's like ever since that happened, it was like four years ago. I just can't say that I'm an atheist anymore. It's like something about having that experience made me more aware of something else. And that's why I do this work, because I just know it's something so much more beyond this, like get up and put on a pom-pom headband thing every day. Like there's something so much more going on. What is it? I don't know. I don't even think I have the ability to comprehend it. But that's really one of the reasons your story is so powerful to me, because you do focus on that stuff. It's like, yeah, you are a victim, or I don't know if you like that word, maybe survivor you would prefer. Either way. But like, yeah, you suffered at the hands of him. And as a result, this whole ring of people, they were all working in concert apparently. But what you've chosen to focus on, I find to be very inspiring and a good example of a leader of how you should act. And I appreciate that you're putting that example out there for other people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And what you said is so true. It makes you know that you are a part of something way bigger, because that part that you just illustrated, you didn't feel like fighting. You didn't resist that feeling. That's exactly how I felt. I didn't want to die. I have children.
Yeah.
Father God, please don't take me. I need to raise my children. I'm not finished doing your work. An overall sensation of this is what it is. And I didn't have any fight in me. I didn't try to fight it because I didn't know I could. It just felt like I dissipated and this is what I was. When that cold air rushed in the door, it came to me and passed through me like I was a sleeve knit sweater. I felt it go through my flesh. And flesh is solid, so we don't think that that's a thing, but I felt it come out the back of me. And that's what made me say, I'm dying, because I had never experienced anything like that and had nothing to relate it to.
That's probably why you're so strong now. That's probably why you wear the boxing gloves daily now, because you had that experience and you're out on the other side of it.
Yeah, I truly believe that. I truly believe it's not lost on me.
And could you talk about how you kind of had a series of sort of, I would describe it as premonitions. You were describing it as, God talking to you. But, specifically what stands out to me is you were talking about those ambulances. You pulled up on the club. You weren't really going to go out. You had just got saved a couple months before. They were calling you holy roller. You know, you wanted to go tie one more off or whatever. And you get up to the club in Times Square, West 45th, 43rd Street. And right there, the two big old ambulances sitting there. And what can you describe what you thought when you saw them or felt, or you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So if anybody knows Times Square, you know that there is not a moment of rest. I'm talking, we used to leave the house at 1 a.m. to go to the movies at times because it's just people walking around like it's 2 p.m.
It's so bright and loud and stinks.
Thousands of people at night. So to find a street in Manhattan where there are no cars, the only justifiable thing would be there's a film crew. Not on this block. This block usually has cars up and down. There's also a parking garage on it, but there's cars on the street because parking on Manhattan streets are premium. This block had not one car on it, but when you at the top of the block, there were 2 ambulances, one halfway on the sidewalk and nose in the street, and the other one the same way, halfway on the sidewalk in the street, and it narrowed the passage of traffic down to one little skinny lane in between them. You had to go through. It was almost like driving through a portal. You had to drive through this little opening they left to get onto the block. And I said, y'all don't find a problem with this? Nobody.
Yeah, I would be like, where's the parade? Where's the marathon?
I said to them, what are they expecting? Someone to die here? The crazy irony was one of those ambulances took me to the hospital and the other took Julius Jones. It's hard not to, hindsight being 2020, it is hard not to see it as some sort of a setup or sacrifice or some weird thing. Something was afoot.
And it's December what? 18th? What day was it?
27th. It was the night of the 26th, early morning of the 27th.
Could it be, and I don't know, could it be, they say that some moments have to happen in time. They say that some moments, no matter how horrible, have to happen in time. Could it be that that ambulance was meant to save your life before they knew that they were there to save your life? Is that at all possible?
Absolutely. Now, and well, the word says God will take what is meant for bad and make it for good. It is my sincere belief that it was probably there for bad, but because I am called, because I tell people all the time, he doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. Because he knew what his mission for me was, he took what was meant for bad and pivoted it and made it for good. Absolutely. And I'm grateful. The irony of it was, in New York, every borough has a level 1 trauma center hospital that if you get pow-powed, you better go there. In Brooklyn, it's Kings County Hospital. In Manhattan, it's St. Vincent's Hospital. I was the most seriously injured. They passed St. Vincent's and took me to a little neighborhood hospital called St. Clair's, where women go fresh up their facelifts.
Wow.
Nobody could explain it. Thank God I had the wherewithal to ask the nurse to give me the cordless phone to call my sister. I couldn't remember anybody's number but my sister whose house I had just left. I called my sister and she's like, whose number is this? Why are you calling me? Tell me about the club tomorrow. And I scream out, call mommy. I got shot. And it was only at that moment, after everything, it was the first time I had shed a tear and the first time I felt so emotional that I had to break down. I didn't shed a tear the entire time. It couldn't be anything but couldn't.
And do you think that any of that was affected by the fact that the people who you had went to the club with abandoned you, and so you were kind of like alone, and then when you were able to reconnect with your actual family, like that was when you could begin I don't even want to use the word process, but like even begin that, like understanding of what had even happened? Because that part stood out to me too, that your friends just rolled out. Bye.
I promise you, I did not see my friends again.
Ever? Or like for
a couple of them days later when they came to see if I was okay. But that night, when I tell you I never saw them again, I never saw them again. And we have a thing you go home with who you came with.
That's what you had. That's what I
No
told,
doubt.
you know, the white people earlier on here. I said, look, I learned from Natanya that it's like in the Black community, you could go there with somebody you're supposed to leave with them. And then it was like they broke the code and she's all there alone. She got shot in the face by P. Diddy. No one's believing her. And then now I'm here and now they're bringing you to the facelift hospital.
Listen, they didn't even ride in the ambulance with me. If you knew your friend got shot in the face,
I'd be in the ambulance.
so I'd be like,
I'm running after the ambulance, for crying out loud.
I probably ain't running after it, but I'm probably screaming, hey, I'm coming.
Contacting your mom. They didn't
Calling your mom? Going to your house?
Wait,
I
so
called my sister myself.
So as far as, okay, so you got to this facelift clinic or hospital. What did they do? What happened then? Were you sent back?
Pascal hasn't announced.
I was brought in.
I know, I'm like,
oh, you,
like, so
ma'am,
I do watch you. I do watch you, but like just listening to you, I feel like this is like a real.
Yeah, he's the real boss here. Like he's
And
really
now,
moderating. Yeah.
In this corner, wearing electric blue, Natanya. But I watch your stuff too, Mims. I've been wanting to say that this whole time. I watch your stuff too. So great stuff, by the way. But back to the thing, Natanya. Hi, how you doing? Question. Okay, so you got pulled up to the thing, and were they sitting there going like, what are we supposed to do with this? Like, take her back over there? What happened?
They were so blasé. I mean, I had been spewing blood everywhere. My face was open. They were very blasé. So hold on to your horses when I tell you this. So that she gives me the cordless phone. I call my sister. I'm like, please call mommy, tell mommy, hurry. And she's screaming uncontrollably. She can't console herself. She wakes my brother-in-law up and he's screaming, what happened? What happened to Eb? What happened to Eb? And she couldn't talk. And he grabbed the phone and was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, call mommy. I got shot in the face. I'm telling him everything that's going on. The nurse then hears a TV in the background of the emergency room, walks over to me because she hears me crying now uncontrollably. And she says, oh, mommy, that's you they're talking about on the TV? That's what you're talking about? You saw J-Lo? What she had on?
Oh, my God. Stop.
Well, honestly, a relevant question, apparently.
I'm dead. Are you serious? What?
As God is my witness, I promise to God, I shall not lie. I promise.
Wow.
Stop it.
You got Mims falling out the chair.
I told my sister, please, they're going to let me die. Call my mother. Shout out to Gloria. My mother is a powerhouse.
Shout out to Gloria.
A powerful New York woman, had connections and legal connections, medical, everything. My mother had to come from New Jersey. By the time she got from New Jersey to that hospital, to St. Vincent, she had already had super medevac trauma ambulance come and pick me up and take me to St. Vincent's. And when they were wheeling me and my mother in the corridor, like you see on any movie, any medical show where they're wheeling and the person comes, that's my family member. And my sister was over my mother's shoulder. My little sister, Danny, she was a college student, over my mother's shoulder, crying inconsolably, holding her face like she was looking at the most horrible looking thing. And that was freaking me out. I was like, what do I look like? My mom, being the powerhouse of a woman she is, I have so much reverence, respect for my mother. I promise you. I thought I was dying. And I said, I'm sorry, mommy. Tell my kids I love them. Please take care of my kids. My mother stopped right there and said, no, you go in there and you get that surgery. You survive. You come back here. I'm the grandmother. Your name is mommy. I'm not sending no messages. I make cookies. You go survive and come back and take care of your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now get in there and come back out here. And I was like, it was like I was a 12-year-old girl. I was like,
yes,
mommy. Okay, mommy.
Yeah.
I have a problem with the hospital.
That's the
and people who brought her there.
Why did it take your mom to have somebody come and pick you up to take you to a doctor that could actually help you? I feel like that's malpractice. You can't.
Listen. To this day, St. Clair's doesn't exist anymore. And neither does St. Vincent's, oddly enough. St. Vincent's is like college campuses or something. But St. Clair's doesn't exist anymore. And I've talked to somebody who was a nurse and a EMT, and they said that was St. Clair's was a hospital they hated to take patients to because they knew that patient was as good as done. Why would you take me there? It was almost as if they were trying to make sure I didn't make it.
Yeah, they were trying to give you a losing battle. They wanted you to lose.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, at
Yeah.
least. Can I ask you though, how many surgeries have you had, or has it only been one?
No, I had a couple of surgeries, and incidentally, the surgeon who went in, he had to slice me from the front of my mouth all down my throat, take out a bullet fragment that was aspirating to my lungs because I got hit with a 9mm hollow point bullet. And so for those who don't know, they're called cop killers on the street. When they make contact with you, they rip apart and shatter into all these different pieces.
I didn't know that.
9 pieces still left in my face and head.
Oh my God.
I have a massive piece right here on the biggest piece is right here. So my entry wound is here. The biggest chunk is right here. Broke my cheekbone, my nose bone, tore out my entire nasal pharynx. One piece went, scarred my brain. I have a traumatic brain injury. I also have a seizure disorder, swelling of the brain. Another portion, I have a bunch of little ones here, and one was over here, which caused me to lose my tooth. Like I take out my flipper every now and then because it can hurt, because over there is just so sensitive. So I don't have it in right now because and this just happened a few years ago. It took my tooth because the bullet fragment moved. You gain weight and things of that nature. It moved and it went on top of the nerve. So I didn't know why my face was swelling and hurting, but it was so swollen. My son took me to, I didn't want to hear it. Don't chew, don't breathe, don't turn off the light, nothing.
It's bad, a tooth pain. It'll ruin your whole everything. You can't do nothing with a tooth pain.
And they had to rush me into surgery and literally remove all of the nerve. It's called a pulpectomy. So they
oh my God.
And the tooth was just now a shell. And no, an empty shell can't survive. It broke. The end of the tooth broke first, and then the base was still in here. But my dentist kept saying, you cannot have an open thing like that in your mouth. You can't. And so they pulled the tooth, and my teeth have started shifting. It's nonstop. It's if there are any dentists out there who would love to give me the $1 million smile,
please help her, y'all. The dentist, only if you good though. Nobody bad.
I do know a dentist who might be able to help. I know Dr. Heavenly.
Thank you. Make that. I would absolutely.
She does makeovers.
I would absolutely take it because that's one of the things that still, while I'm not ashamed of my story, it does bother me. It does bother me because my teeth have shifted because of the nature of what I went through. But I had to have the surgery for the doctor to extract the bullet, and that doctor came and testified in the trial. He testified in the trial, and he said, listen, while I was acclimating her to time and space, you know, when you see on a medical show, they say, what's your name? Do you know where you are? You know, who did this to you? What's today's date? They want to know how your brain is functioning, if it's functioning, and how much it is functioning. And when he was asking me those things, he said, who did this to you? And I was screaming. Puffy shot me in my face. This man, he came to court and was like, I didn't know who Puffy was. This is an older white Jewish doctor. He had no clue who Puffy was. He's just like, this woman was in my operating room screaming, Puffy shot me in my face. He said, I don't typically find people making a dying declaration and lying. They still found him not guilty because of jury tampering.
Can I say something really, really quick? It's important to have people like you say things like this because somebody might look at you and say, she looks great. It happened 20 years ago. But to hear the lasting effects of what you have to endure, including your teeth in present day, losing nerves, and continuously for the rest of your life having bullet fragments in your face.
That could move and sit on a nerve at any moment.
Yeah.
That's why it's important that we hear things like this. That's why it's important that we hear the complaints where people are very specific about what they endured, what they woke up to, what they saw. What pain they feel today, what was the lasting effects. When, you know, we hear a lot about Busby, but when that man said that he had to go and have his, I don't know what words I'm allowed to say on your channel.
Well, you know, yeah, he had to have that reconstructive surgery with a laser on his parts down there.
On his back end.
His back end, yeah.
That's important to hear because a doctor had to take that case and he had to tell them that's why it's blown out because of this. It's important. It's horrible to hear. It's dark. But until you put yourself in this person's position, I couldn't even listen. I'm so sorry. I was not trying to be rude.
I know.
My stomach was sinking. We have talked And I did not know that it was it was this impactful to you in present day.
Listen, my face, I always have to illustrate it like this. So you guys watched the Martin show back when he fought Tommy Hearns and his head was really big and lumpy and Gina still was kissing him?
Yeah.
My swells so bad. Even to this day, I can tell when I'm swelling because my glasses won't fit on my face. Keep a little pair of Dollar Tree things, and sometimes they have one arm because I can't do one. My face swells. I have swelling of the brain. I still have a seizure disorder, severe migraines, all types of stuff. For the previous 2 weeks, I had probably, it's not happened for the last week, but the 2 weeks prior, I had a perpetual headache for 2 weeks. I was very concerned because I'm like, okay, is it a seizure? Like a lot has been going on. What's happening? This seizure disorder is nasty. It's a direct result of the bullet.
Right.
I wear readers now because this one on my optic nerve, my vision is just getting weirder and weirder. And it's a huge chunk right here. Somebody was doing something with me the other day and hit me in my face accidentally.
Hey.
And I'm telling you, it was so tender. And they didn't, you know how you're talking and you might go like this and hit somebody accidentally. My face was so long. And I don't want to make a big deal of it. So I kind of just like, oh, no, it's okay. But when I get home, my daughter she's 17. It's too much for her to have to always deal with. It's too much.
So real quick, just so I understand fully, how many fragments do you still have fragments currently right now?
9 bullet fragments.
9 bullet fragments. So can you explain to me too, or to all of us, because clearly, you were at just ride with me for a second. You're at the club, you're doing your thing, then this altercation happens, and then bang, bang, right? You get hit in the face. So it stopped. Like, can you explain where it stopped and how it spread? You see what I'm saying?
Whenever a hollow point, it's hollowed out in the middle. The intent annihilate the person that it hits. It's when it breaks apart and shatters in your body, they mean for it to cut organs, veins, capillaries.
It's like shrapnel immediately. It
Absolutely.
like on impact. It just like everywhere.
So there's no exit wound because when it goes in, it shatters so badly, it usually takes the person out. And it broke my nose bone, it broke my cheekbone, tore out the entire nasal pharynx on this side of my nose. So you know when you look up your nose, you see those two membranes, that whole none of that exists on this side of my face. It's all torn out. In fact, it's depressed. It's indented. And so the bullet fragments just scatter. They hit off of things, ricochet, go here, there, and wherever they want. I presently have 9 bullet fragments still in my head.
So what I'm trying to ask is, like, where's the point of entry? Where was the point? So it stopped right here, and then it went whap, like that.
So it hit bone, soft spread everywhere.
So how did they say anything about, like, hey, you're very lucky that you see what I'm saying?
More than lucky. The doctor literally said, so the next day, after recovery, the day after I came out of the recovery, my family was in the room, and a nurse, the doctor and a guy from I guess he was from the ethics department or something. He came to the room and asked my mother, excuse me, who is she? Is she a celebrity or something? And my mother was like, no, why are you asking her? She's my daughter. And he's like, because we've never had so many people to visit anybody at this hospital. Downstairs is packed. Can you please I need a list of 5 approved people, and that's it. No one else on top of the 5 can visit her. We can't get rid of these people. So my mother was like, okay, I'll try to go, downstairs and see what's what and talk to people. So when she came back, we were kind of like laughing and, talking in the room.
I hope she took your friends that left you off the list.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
They never even came.
Okay.
They never came.
Okay.
Shout out to my friend Veronica Simmons. She was there with me nonstop. And shout out to my friend Tish, who took care of me after the fact. Like, came to my house, washed all my laundry. I'm talking for a long time. Washed my laundry, fed my kids, cooked for us, put the food away, took my kids out every weekend. Shout out to real friends.
Yes.
Pascal, if somebody would have told me I'm lucky after all that, I would have cursed them out. I would have cursed them the hell out.
The hell
The hell you say? Shut up.
I also would have cursed them out, just for the record. Like, excuse me, I probably would have cussed their mama out too for raising them like that.
Throwing a slipper at them or something, man. Seriously,
Something.
that's messed up.
Somebody in the chat must know you because they say you also can't sleep.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep for a long time.
No, they're saying now, like you have difficulty
What
sleeping.
happens is when you close your eyes, you get shot all over again. It's like a loop that continues to play. And you close your eyes, you wake back up, because how many times can one person get shot in a lifetime? And so it created insomnia where for the better part of 15 to 18 years, I did not sleep at all. I would get up every night, walk around the house, check the doors, check the windows. Oh, my kids were just like, their nerves were shot. It was like, you know what it is to see your mother go through that? I'm checking doors all the time. I'm like, if somebody touched the window, if God forbid a window's up, I'm like, who unlocked this window? What are you trying to do? I was frantic because you have a total loss of safety. That's the PTSD. You have a total loss of feeling safe.
Have you found, Natanya, that there was anything that helped you to maybe mitigate some of the insomnia symptoms?
It took shout out to my friend Michelle Bassett. She introduced me to crystals. She was like, Eb, you can't keep staying up. You have to sleep. I mean, I was, just wired. Like I could not sleep, and I was tired, but I didn't want to betray myself. And so you could see it wearing on my body. She said, you need some crystals. And I was like, oh, really? I haven't slept.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Crystals.
I haven't slept in 18 years, and some rocks are going to make me sleep.
And they did.
Like, gaslighting. She took them. She went and got them herself. I had this big windowsill, and the sun would shine directly. And she said, let's charge the crystals. She laid them all out. They charged in the sun for a long time. She said, put them in this. They came in a pouch. She said, put this under your pillow. I was kind of gaslighting, like, okay. I slept like Rick Van Winkle. You hear me? I got old.
Well, there you go.
Just
I was
out.
like, oh. And now I don't leave home without my crystals. They are everywhere I am.
That's what's up.
But I'll tell you, that doctor came to the room when my mother came back upstairs, and the nurse said to him, oh, yeah, she's in there. She's awake. And he's like, awake? He came to the room. He's like, I'm shocked that you're awake. He said, it's one thing for you to be alive, but awake is a whole nother thing. He said, the path that the bullet took in your head, there is no justifiable reason that you should be alive, much less awake. He said, and then you're in here laughing?
Yeah, like that's what I was going to say. Did you have, because I hear stories sometimes people have a traumatic brain injury and they got to relearn stuff, or like they forgot their such and such. Like did you have any memory lapses after, that initial?
No memory. I did have to learn how to do some things again. And I lost, I would have to say, like, I had this overall feeling of numbness for a while too. It was weird. In my body, my nerves and everything was just a numbness. It was a weird, like I said, when I pixelated, I stopped feeling like one cohesive piece. And so I felt like a torso and head and then extremities. They felt foreign. I'm a formally trained dancer. I promise you, after my getting shot, it's like I couldn't even figure out dance steps. Like I was like I'd never danced in my life. It was weird. It was almost as if I could use this weird explanation that I was almost out of there, and then they threw me back in like, nope, not yet. And so they needed some spare parts, and they just took the arms and legs they found it. Go back in. I promise you, and they weren't mine. It felt scarecrowy, like I had these parts, but it wasn't in harmony. It wasn't until one day I just knew that I could not carry the pain and the stress of it anymore. And watching him, that's the one thing I can share with Shine, where he said, and I didn't see it, but I've been told that he said this, watching Puffy's life thrive while he was sitting in jail did something. I carried that for a while. I had to go to the altar and lay it down. I can't carry this anymore. Like, it is literally weighing me down, and I had to let it go.
Like physically on your body.
Mind, body, soul, and spirit.
And
I was going to ask you, I'm not trying to take you to church or nothing. Okay. But I did want to ask you about that. I mean, was this something like after this incident that happened to you, did you become closer? Did you have a closer relationship with your with God, or did you, feel led astray? And did it take, because you just said that just a little bit ago, you were, born again, you found your faith again. right before this whole incident happened. So did this challenge that newfound faith, or did it make you stronger in your faith?
Absolutely stronger. So I was already, like I told you, I became a holy roller. I was saving souls out there in the street. People were staying away from me because they were just like, wow, look at Em. She got saved. She's so sanctified. And you know, your pendulum will swing all the way to the right with anything. And then once you get settled in, it'll, you know, settle out in the middle and modulate, and you become who you are. But I knew from then on, I wasn't going to mess with God. I literally said to him, if you save me, I will not waste a moment not giving you the glory.
That's what's up.
I wasn't going to test it. I wasn't going to test it. I knew getting shot in the face and surviving that, by no stroke of the imagination is that by chance. That is a miracle from God. And I wasn't going to play. In fact, my daughter got into bed with me when she was in the 5th grade. She didn't even exist. You know, I had her afterwards. And she got into bed with me when she was in fifth grade. It was like a teacher work day. We were watching Good Morning America. They put Malala Yousafzai on the screen. And my daughter said, "Oh, Malala." So I was shocked. I said, "Oh, you know who Malala is?" She's like, "Come on, mommy. I'm in the 5th grade. I'm a big girl." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "You know what mommy and Malala have in common?" And I don't know what made me just ask her, because I didn't talk about me getting shot with her. She knew because she had heard it, and some of her friends, like, "I heard your mother got shot." She was like, "What are you talking about?" But this day, she said, "Oh, my family's from Trinidad." She's like, "Oh, is she from Trinidad?" And I said, "No, we both got shot in the face." And she hugged me, and I just started crying inconsolably. And she hugged me, and she was like, "It's okay, mommy, you're a miracle." And God literally said to me, "I've been trying to tell you that all along." And so something came upon me. It never occurred to me to Google how many people survive getting shot in the face. I Googled it, and it says only 5% of people shot in the face and head survive, and only 3% have cognition. The other 2% are vegetables.
Or they're so, like, you know, their faces, you know, bless them, you know, but like Mim said, excuse me, the daughter story got me. Like Mim said earlier, you know, it's people go through this stuff, and like you, right? Like, you're a beautiful woman, and you're brilliant and intelligent, and you know, like, you're
orator.
so articulate, and it's like all of it's great storytelling. You're so charismatic, and it's like you wouldn't know. I mean, it's like, seriously, I mean, I can't see it as anything but a miracle. I mean, maybe you're just a legendary superhero, which I do also believe, but I do think that there's definitely some further explanation, and you had further things to do. And, you know, I to a very small degree know what it feels like to have my character disparaged because of trying to fight for the truth and things. And I don't in any way mean to compare. I certainly have never been through anything like what you have described here and elsewhere, but I do know that there is like an indescribable kind of like isolation that one goes through. And the fact that you have dealt with that for decades, plural, and only just really freaking now, last year, maybe, people are like listening to you and hearing you and believing you, which they should. And I mean, just what are the odds even? You know, it's like you were absolutely being, I believe, prepared for exactly this moment. And I think that you are, thank God, you know, and thank you for coming on this channel today, and for you guys coming on too, because I mean, when we all first convened earlier, it was like, you know, a little downtrodden. We're like, how do we know it's a circus and there's these clowns, and like some people are real, you know, survivors, and some people are probably like out here, you know, climbing a tree and playing a leprechaun or whatever. But it's like, if you know, you know, the Birmingham leprechaun. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make light of it.
We laugh about it here. We woke up on the right side of the dirt. So,
but my point is like, you know, I am grateful for, you know, I'm out here doing my little one part over here, and each of these guys are doing their part as well. I consider us to be in the same space. We doing different stuff a little bit. And thank you. You know, it's like you're like a lighthouse, you know, like a beacon that we can look at. Like, at least there's Natanya, who's been saying exactly the same thing for 20 years. And it's like, no, like, there's these anchors you can go back to, right? Like the tape. We can all go back to that tape and look at it, and we know it exists. We can all go back to the apology. And you know, you didn't just spring up out of nowhere. you've been trying to tell us this for a while. I think I might have been in middle school when you started, trying to tell people.
There's a 2001 New York Times, I believe it's February 2001. You can look it up. There's a piece where a journalist chronicles. He literally says, Natanya Rubin, without a doubt, places the gun in Puff Daddy's hand and makes it fire. There are people like, oh, she didn't say this before. I know they're bots. You know what I'm saying? I saw something on I think it was TikTok recently with this whole phone farm where all these phones are just connected.
You saw that? It's a wall, y'all, a wall of phones. And they got one little person at it typing, and it's all these phones sending out stuff. And that's just like the rudimentary level of it. They got other ones that you don't need the physical phones. They can just send out a thing and 10,000 tweets goes out. It's insane. It's like absolutely insane.
I were talking about.
Yeah,
I'm doing a video on Sean Hawley, and I've connected multiple dots. This is why I called her, and we ended up talking. Yep. I was at the beach, and I was more in tune with my conversation with her than being at the beach. But yeah, that is
the Mims. Like, you were one of the first people I spoke to, honestly, because you were talking about it that once the Little Rod lawsuit dropped and the Cassie stuff had dropped. And remember, I was in the chat. I was in your chat, and I just commented, and people were like, she's in here, Mims. And you said, you want to come on? And you handled me with such care, and I appreciate it. And it makes the world of difference, because I'm telling you, I've been gaslit for 25 years. Nobody but God could keep you through all of this. You know what it feels like for the whole world to call you a liar and be against you? I told people, God told me that this would happen, that Puffy would get arrested and his whole world would topple. And my friends spun the block and came back, and some of them were like, oh, we thought you were crazy. Needless to say, I cut. But they were the first ones back. They were like, we thought you were crazy. It just sounds so ridiculous. So imagine if I had listened to people 20 years ago and stopped.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
He was acquitted with those charges. Was there ever a space in time where you could have filed civil charges against him?
I did.
And what was the?
I got a lawsuit.
It was settled, right? Yeah.
That's why Shine still owes me $500,000, and I want it. Come to the front of the room, Shine, Mr.
Mr. Diplomat. Isn't he like a politician in Belize or something?
I'm still angry about this, though. I'm sorry. I'm still angry because whatever the settlement was, if anybody would have known that you were going to have lasting effects, then whatever the amount was, it should have been multiplied times 10. The fact that 24 years later,
25 December 27th is 25 years.
25 years later, you're still having ripple health effects. Whatever settlement you got should have been a lot more.
No doubt.
Sorry, I just got angry again. I'm sorry.
No, you're 100% right. And I believe that there were even more people paid off. Hindsight being 2020, I can tell that, there were more people paid off, unfortunately. But here's the deal. He wasn't acquitted of the charges. He was acquitted of gun possession burglary. He was not acquitted of attempted murder, which he should have been charged with. But like I said, there was the whole hype about Johnny Cochran, and, a whole bunch of people got paid off, and it was a whole lot of don't.
You said they were out in the streets with their signs and every other thing.
Massive. Do you remember the old school hip hop street team? They had massive, like 6-7 feet signs, 6 feet by maybe 4 or 5 feet on big wood staffs.
Wait, the hip hop street teams, are you talking about like the cars and stuff that would like go through with like speakers, or this is something different?
Speakers too, but they also had people on foot carrying
clubs
that are like 6 feet tall by 4 feet wide, and it would have whatever the message was printed out, crafted.
So other than Diddy, like, what are some examples? What type of things the like hip hop street team would do? Like promoting a party or something, or
parties, promoting whatever their message was. And if social media is effective, try 10 people holding signs walking up and down the street.
Yeah, in your neighborhood where you live and them and stuff.
Paying DJs to play music at clubs, which is a big deal in New York. Played in New York, it was like the beat of hip hop.
You know where you can see some of the archival footage for it? I haven't seen many people have this footage, but if you look on Leah Gordon's channel, and shout out to Leah, she did a piece called The Natanya Rubin Story.
Okay.
I stumbled upon it, me and my daughter, and I promise you, cried like, I'm talking the real ugly snot.
She's fire.
Horrible cry. She's fire.
She's fire.
I finally spoke to her. We talked, and she's such a beautiful soul. She was inconsolable. And I was like, it's okay, Leah, it's okay. And she was like, no, you don't understand. And I was like, what? Tell me what I need to understand. I said, I know all of your people, you know, when you get in touch with them, they support you. She's like, I've never talked to anybody I've done a story on. I've been doing this for 6 years. Everybody's dead except you. That took me out.
That's powerful.
Powerful. She was crying inconsolably. She said, I've never talked to anybody. Everybody else is gone. And she's like, I'm so happy to talk to you. I'm so touched that you even wanted to talk to me. I was like, how could I not? Nobody else cared. You were the only person that saw it. She said, I wanted to tell your story. I couldn't understand why nobody was telling your story. And I was so touched. Her archival footage is amazing. She actually even opened my eyes to a couple of people from my past that did me dirty. They happened to be caught up in some of that old archival footage. And I was like, well, looky here. But
yeah,
you can see the street team. She has footage where you can see the street teams outside of the courthouse. It was like a concert outside of the courthouse every day for 7.5 weeks.
You think that's how it's going to be if it actually makes it to trial here?
Oh, absolutely.
I think, you know, I've been going back and forth, like, because I'm in New Jersey. I live in Princeton. So it's like not that far to go, you know, at least for a couple times. But it's like, I think I'm going to be sitting right here in this chair, actually.
I've been told you may not want to.
Yeah.
I know you're not scared. You're not scared of anything or anybody.
No, I ain't.
I've been told that it's probably not smart to show up at the courtroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't go, it ain't gonna be because I'm scared of somebody, because nobody's gonna do nothing to me. I can promise you that.
But they do have.
But I mean, do I feel like listening to all that noise and like being around all them energy vampires and like sacrificing my energy to them? No, hell no, I do not. I like sitting right here and reading tweets and going in other people's live and be like, oh, now we got another tweet. Because that's the thing. Like, I like being on top of it. I like being like, oh, another tweet. If you're in there, you can't have you know, a camera, you can't be live streaming, you can't be talking. And then what if you got to pee? I mean, I did do this for Britney Spears, but it wasn't a trial like this, right? Like 7 weeks, you said they were out. No, I don't want to do that. What if there's like a rogue Diddy supporter out there?
There's tons of them, and they will do his bidding for no, they don't even have to be paid. They will do his bidding just for the glory of saying I did it for him. Trust me, I've run into some of those over the 25.
Well, they will run straight into the barrier of protection if they come around me. But do I really want to be around them? No, ma'ams. No, I don't. I don't.
I can tell you this. I know you're not scared, and that is wonderful. The people involved are extremely fearful because they've been touched. And
yes. I'm not trying to be touched.
I want you to stay safe. I know you're not scared, and I know you practice your Second Amendment rights, but
they're not in New York City. I don't think I'm allowed to do it over there. You know, I won't be rolling into New York City with the Second Amendment rights, but I'll believe them in my heart. But no, I don't. I'm also just getting too old. You know what I mean? I've reached the age. It's Times Square. Even just hearing you describe it, I worked in New York for a while, like a summer, and then I actually lived in Times Square for like this 3 months period. It was cute for 3 months, but honestly, I don't like it.
It's a lot.
I made the mistake of staying there for Halloween, and I was dressed as Drake, and I had like the full BBL. I have never been touched so much in my life. I was BBL crazy.
There's a picture of that. I need the picture right now. Did you post?
Yes, but make sure you turn the sound off. It's on my Instagram. Make it make sense now. There's a video.
Because it's going to have the song and he's going to copyright claim. Have y'all heard about this UMG?
That he's suing them?
What's that about? I haven't even looked into it. Anybody know?
Sounds like he's in his feelings.
Career.
He's mad.
The final nail in the coffin career.
Yeah, it's silly. It's frivolous.
It's silly, I think. Yeah. I think it's silly.
It's going to make him look worse than he already does.
Yeah,
it's getting Kendrick Lamar more clout, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Is it
am I making sense in this, or everybody's just on Kendrick's side?
No, he's turning into a Karen.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar?
No, Drake.
Mm-mm.
Because it's a rap battle. The
Right.
thing is, when you're accustomed to winning and you lose, now you go to the courts. That's the least street. That's the most Canadian thing. No offense, Canadians. That's the most Canadian thing that you could do.
It's
No offense to
giving
Canadians. I love
doesn't
Canadians.
understand First Amendment or what? Do y'all think like if you're Drake, are you mad about it or?
Wait.
Supposedly you won.
Look at this.
I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, damn, I didn't realize that was true.
Oh my God! Wait, but you're pretty. Look at you.
I'm done. I'm done.
You look just like him. Crazy.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm a mess. I'm a
And
little
y'all have to
different on.
understand there is a song. Okay, I can't play it, but
Yeah, don't
you
play
know,
it.
you gotta get the.
Mhm.
Okay. Fine. Okay, good. I needed to see it. Now everyone's seen it.
Full coverage.
I'm a little different on Instagram, so it's making make sense now on Instagram. I'm a little different than I am on YouTube.
I'm pretty much just about exactly the same everywhere. So
Yeah, same.
sorry. I
What
don't
you
have
see is
a-
what you get. What you see is what you
Well, you
get.
know, I'm a little. Sometimes you
was
know, I'll dress
hilarious.
up, record or whatever. Sometimes or
And
whatever.
we need a little levity because this thing is so heavy. And trust me, if you don't laugh a little, this can wear you down. Like I did also deal with a lot of depression over the 25 years because you know it's cumbersome. It's every time you turn on the radio, it's every time you turn on the TV, it's something, you know, or somebody's making a joke about it. There was tons of jokes. I remember back when it first happened before the trial started. My mother they were talking so much junk on the urban radio station. My mother was like, don't watch them. Like I developed a alopecia and all my hair fell out in one section. Terrible. And it was because I started rubbing the spot of my head. It was almost like a soothing, like a self-soothing. And all of a sudden I touched it and I was like, why does it feel so slick? Like, what is that feeling? I go look in the mirror and the hair is just coming out in clumps. I had rubbed it till all of the hair fell out. And so it was literally like this big of a bald spot on my head. And it was, you know, one of the things that drove me to depression. I was a hairstylist.
Right.
And it was just.
You said it was urban radio, right?
Urban radio, they were hot 7-0, they were destroying me.
And it's not just urban radio. Like if you look at
Well,
it,
it was
all the
everybody.
people like Diddy, like Epstein, they buy into media. Back in the day, it was urban radio for people like Diddy.
Well, it wasn't just urban radio. My mother told me not to listen to urban radio. And so I started listening to like Imus in the morning, and they called me a one-eyed hoe with no nose.
Word.
Devastated. I was
Wow.
like, in the morning?
Imus, is that the one who said the nappy-headed hoe comment?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I was devastated. I was like, I can't listen to radio. And it's really what has given me the freedom to, I could sit in my room for 4 hours. This is the couch in the sitting area of my bedroom. I promise you, I could sit here for 4 hours in the quiet, just like this.
I've seen his hair. He could use a perm, a flat iron himself.
I'm coming after his hair too. Now that we're on hair.
And I was on a lot of the shows. They were just calling me. People had a different narrative. Some people said I had no nose. They said she got a hole blown in her cheek. She doesn't have a face. I mean, they called me everything. I was just like, do they understand every sentence is taking a piece of me away? Nobody cares.
I mean, it's almost like they were acting like you went out there and were like, oh, pick me. Make me the person who has to be taking the 9 fragments in their face. Like, what they thought you was doing that like on purpose? Like
it was, but they lacked any empathy. And part of, you know, it's odd because there was a time that the fact that my face looked whole was probably the greatest source of sadness for me because I looked fine. And so because I started looking fine, after a while, I looked perfectly normal or typically functioning. Nobody had empathy for me at all. They were like, get over it. Get over yourself. You know, just be happy you're alive. How many times are you going to tell me that story? It was terrible.
Are we not like seeing the pattern? If what Diddy is allegedly going after now is YouTubers and social media influencers, there's nothing to say that he did not slip Imus something or have Imus at one of the parties or loan Imus a hairdresser. And Imus said, okay, I'll say whatever.
I mean, that's one of the things about the Adria English thing that I said. I don't think she's lying. I think she's telling the truth. That Diddy has worked with media conglomerates, including Penske Media, which owns a bunch of print media. They own Billboard, for example, and the Billboard Awards by default, Hollywood Reporter, right? Some tabloids and stuff. And so the allegation is he's been working with them to put these white parties on as something that they're not. And I believe that. I do. And I think that the radio stations where that's Gannett and Tegna. So, I mean, that actually, I mean, he doesn't now. He owns Revolt. He, founded it or whatever, owns it, which is different. But like you could see how it evolved from that.
The other guy
bought the dude from Drink Champs a Maybach. Bought the dude from Drink Champs a Maybach. So when he's on there saying things like, "Why you didn't go out with me, Daddy? I want to go party with you, Daddy." Nobody is blinking an eye because they are on payroll and they understand just how much money they get. While we're looking at the Ciroc and the Leon bottles on the table that everybody is forced to drink.
Forced.
I have a theory about this whole little press junket Ray J has been doing. I say he was finessing us. I promise you, it's dropped into my spirit that Puffy was probably paying Ray J regularly, a stipend, a settlement, allowance.
I found the court case.
I love you. I love you.
Once he got incarcerated,
Pascal is trying desperately to get a word in here.
No, it's all good. It's all good. This conversation's fire. But Natanya, I just want to say thank you. I'm not crazy.
No,
thank you, sweet baby Jesus. I'm not crazy because I've been sitting here since day one going, why is he all up? Why is he all up in the videos? Why is he all doing these interviews? Why is he, bringing on Suge Knight, being the mediator for all this? And then after everything, almost getting pew-pewed at, or at least that's what he claims, then suddenly he gets back onto Cuomo's show and flips the script all over again.
I'll tell you why. When Puffy went to jail, his stream of allowance got cut off. Trying to say, give me my money, give me my money. And when the allowance wasn't paid and he started talking, that's when the sons tried to get involved. And so he said, let me finesse everybody. He started going on. Remember, he said, I have a lot of celebrities that have been saying to me that they want to talk and they want to pay the BuzzFeed to get their videos out. And then he did all these other little things. And then he popped up on Nicki Minaj's live acting peculiar. And then he did the Jamal Barrow interview. The Pastor Jamal Bryant interview. And then he started saying, don't release that video. He was adding pressure to Puffy. See, Puffy was like, what did he say? He went to the pastor. Maybe he purged himself. What did he say?
Damn.
So he was so nervous that Ray J said something. He started sending that allowance again. And instantly Ray J said, freak off? What freak off? I've never heard of that.
Exactly.
He's a great guy. Finessed him and finessed everybody else. And I was thinking about like, what is wrong with everybody falling for this okie doke? The Bible says those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. I knew it instantly. I said,
here's a court case, though. There's actually a court case.
What court case? What do you mean?
When Ray J started his scooty bikes and the earphones, he had told somebody who was supposed to be working like marketing for him that he was going to be getting a percentage. Then he cut them out, and it was who's that other dude? He's Ray J's like manager. What's his name?
Weintraub.
No. He's also on another podcast.
You talking about Whack 100?
Whack 100. They started disparaging this boy, saying he was crazy and all this other stuff. But he put in the court case that he believed that Diddy was one of the people who initially gave him the seed money to start the business that he eventually sold for $75 million. So that is the one link that I did find to Ray J potentially having
on Ray J.
Connection.
Ray J is outside. For those who don't know, for those in the podcast space who don't really know who Ray J is, don't sleep on him. He's known in the celebrity world, or you can call him B level, but he's outside in them streets too. Please don't sleep on him.
So he's slick.
He's the eyes. He's outside.
He's very smart at marketing himself, similar to Diddy.
Between the lines, not just marketing. He outside. Outside.
I need some more hints because I don't know what outside means.
He's around.
He's don't take him for just Brandy's little bro. That's
he's like, in the
He
mix.
he has his hands in multiple pots.
He's more than just being,
Remember,
what we see. I see.
Think back
That's
on
crazy.
people that had their demise later. One of the last people known to be with Wendy Williams regularly before she seemed not like Wendy was Ray J. One of the last people, the person with Whitney Houston when she ceased to exist was Ray J.
Mhm.
And there's footage of him being snuck out of the back of the hotel. Please.
Yeah, I got a whole BJ Investigates in the works about our girl Whitney Houston, because the way she died, a lot of people don't even know. It's like a bunch of, people don't know. People think she drowned. People think she had a heart attack. I mean, really, she just got like hot to death. Like she just kind of like boiled alive because she was passed out in the hot tub. People don't even know that. Then y'all know her daughter, Bobby Christina, passed from lobar pneumonia, the same pneumonia Kim Porter died from. Y'all knew that?
Connected
Lobar
dot.
pneumonia.
Connected. What's the common denominator in that story?
Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs, and Ray J.
Okay.
If you're running Whitney, don't forget to run her assistant at the time. He's the one who cleaned her room. If you look up Whitney's assistant at time of death, he admitted to the police that he cleaned out the room. Why would you need to clean out the room?
No doubt.
Also, what's strange is nobody knows that Bobby Christina passed out as well. So one of the people on the gurney was Bobby Christina.
They were trying to get her that night, huh?
And Ray J. Well, no. I think that she was connected to her mom in a way that nobody fully understands.
I see.
And so seeing her mom like that, but Ray J allegedly was consoling her. So when you start digging, I cannot wait to watch your video, because they said Ray J consoled Bobby Christina in the lobby of the hotel where she passed. But they also said that Ray J came late and they sent him away. How can you, and TMZ gave that quote.
Well,
how can they say that you were consoling Bobby Christina and at the same time you were turned away?
I mean, there's the similar things. I know you covered it. Kim Porter's autopsy. It's like certain things in the autopsy report do not add up to other things in the autopsy report, like the things that the police report and stuff and all of that. It's like, hold on, y'all can't even keep your internal consistency. Something's up with this.
That was the first time I shouted you out, because I hadn't seen it before. So that was the very first time that I shouted you out, because I got it from your channel.
And did you see that Noor Jasmine also did a video, and they redacted the doctor name off of my autopsy report that I requested as that surprise witness, but they did not redact the doctor off of hers. So I made like my whole video and everything based on the redacted doctor. And then I watched her video, because I don't like to watch too much of other people's coverage of stuff before I do it. And so then I watch hers after I film mine. I'm like, this 1-800 Rent-A-Doctor that's all over YouTube was Kim Porter's doctor, and they did not bring her to a hospital, and she just died in the house. Oh, no.
Who else doctor was he? He was the doctor that wrote the prescription for Drake that's on the front of that Kendrick put on the album cover, that prescription bottle that was left in the hotel.
You kidding?
No.
Farzam, he wrote that prescription?
And he was the doctor for Kanye. When
you talking about whenever it's just a prescription bottle and it's just playing, and you're like, are they going to play a song at any point, and it's just sitting there?
Eyes to see, ears to hear. I never looked what anything else.
Wow. He was connected to somebody else too. It was somebody else.
Kanye with the Harley Pasternak thing.
Yes, Kanye. He's the one who set Kanye up. And listen, look, Kanye has some problems. Okay, I'm not like out here standing Kanye West. He's got
to start whispering. Whispering into the mic.
Just between us here at the, all of us here. Put one in the chat if Kanye has some problems. But I mean, woo! They set him up. I don't care. 2016, they set him up. I don't care. I don't care. Corey Gamble had to hold his hand to go visit Donald Trump. They couldn't let him go on that journey alone. I mean, look, listen, I don't know that I'd want to personally go on it alone either. But I'm just saying.
Was he holding his hands or his hips?
His purse. I don't know. You seem good at
those hips.
Corey Marie makes his rounds too. Corey Marie was everywhere too. I call everybody Marie, and I give everyone a Southern middle name.
There are quite a few people. The intersections of people and scenarios that appear nefarious are far and deep running. I see a lot of things, and before I became a content creator, I was sitting back looking at things like, wait, they can't see this obvious thing. What's wrong with me that I can see this?
I just say something's wrong with them. I mean, it's something wrong with them, and you still got to love them, you know, and all that, because like we're called to do. But it's definitely a not like us situation with some of these people out here. It's like, if I have to get down to the lowest common denominator and explain some of this stuff to y'all, then we just not, you just gotta get off my channel. You know, like I feel that way because it's like we can't even start at a starting point. Some of these people, it's like there's no starting point. Thank you, love you, bless you, get off my channel.
And some people are just willing to twist your words no matter what, because I hear, you know, I think I am super sharp and to the point, and people will come back in and repeat, oh, you said such and such. And I'm like,
you called her a liar. Like, no, you didn't.
Please highlight the timestamp where I said it. They disappear and never come back because I didn't say it.
A lot of people are very loose with their words because they lying. And then they assume that's what you're doing. And it's like, no, actually, I choose them when they come out of my mouth. And then as soon as they come out some way I didn't mean, I correct it right then. You know, like, or I add a qualifier. And it's like, some of us, me, definitely you, Natanya, you, Pascal, and you, Mims too, because y'all are pretty big content creators. You understand like the liability of every word that comes out of your mouth being held against you. So you're kind of always a little bit conscious of it. And like people think because we get on here and we can sound like a, you know, announcer and we got a light in the background that it just must be so easy. No, like we're thinking about the words we're saying, and some people get out there and they're not. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. Yeah, I can definitely tell that y'all pay attention to the words coming out of your mouth, Natanya especially.
It's interesting because you got to remember that people are going to want to hear what they want to hear as well. They're just going to add in, they're going to fill in the blanks, even though there weren't even blanks in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So like then going after you, Natanya, for example, it's like, okay, yeah, like what you said, run it back real quick. What did I say? Yeah, exactly. I didn't say whatever it is that you think I said, because a lot of people sometimes, if it goes against their narrative or if it goes against their thought process of what they've been thinking about and what they've been believing for so long, it's hard for them to grasp. And then they'll sit there and go, no, what you really meant was this. And it's like, nah, I did not use the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, for crying out loud. I said exactly what I said and nothing changed. But yeah, people do everything they can to change the narrative just so it suits theirs, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, and the way that you describe it, Pascal, and I guess we'll be wrapping up soon. I guess, you know, we all probably got to go do
I got to hop off.
But I did want to close on this because it's actually touches on the point I was thinking about too. It's like, on the one hand, people hear what they want to hear from a negative way, right? Like they just want you to be wrong, or they just want their personal worldview to be right just cause. But then there is a section of people, and I would consider myself, you know, 4 years to go to be in this section of people that really refuses to believe that a big institution could be on purpose lying to your face. For example, like a news organization could be telling you some stuff that's supposedly science, but ain't. And then like later on, they got to come out and say they were lying and they knew it the whole time, for example, without getting into any more details. Or Britney Spears, right? Like all of the news media was in agreement that she needed a conservatorship. But then when I just simply looked at the documents of the conservatorship, they said she had dementia when she was 26 and she didn't. And they never, ever provided a doctor's statement of that. So all of the media had quite literally been putting false information out in the world, saying Britney needed something that was not legally justified. And so it's like, I remember literally grieving. CNN could be lying to my face. I mean, now I feel like it's stupid. Duh, they lie. You know, like I'm all the way in now, but it's like they're not always lying. Some stuff they print is true. And each individual reporter is kind of responsible for their own beat. And it's not the whole organization and all of that. But it's like to come out and believe, right? So for this good faith people, you know, this group of people that's not just trying to be right. It's like for them to believe, for example, you like 5 years ago before any of these allegations came out, they would have to deconstruct their whole foundation of what they understand is going on in the matrix of reality, the fabric of existence. Just to believe you, they would have to deconstruct everything that they know. Right. And so it's like they should. I've had to do that, you know, but
BJ,
go ahead. Yeah, sure.
And potentially lose whatever commercials Diddy was buying from that network,
Mhm.
and potentially lose whatever, you know, hands or whatever pots he might have had his hands in for other things.
So I was talking about, you know, just the average person, but you're absolutely right. That's a whole nother thing when we're talking about the media, right? It's like they got bottom lines, and that's totally, it's exactly right. Like they could even believe her, but then what are they going to do with that belief? They're not going to give up their money, like you
That's
said.
where the surprise witness, Pascal, and make it make sense come in, because we don't have that. we don't have to comply with that.
I said it earlier in this live. They got people, I know y'all do, in the inbox. Give you so and so $1,000 just to mention a stupid game or a stupid toy or whatever debauchery they trying to get us to sell. I know y'all got thousands and thousands of dollar offers. I know y'all do. We're not doing that out here like that. And if y'all do, and if I do, which we reserve the right to do, then it'll, you know, I think I would believe it. I would take.
Where's that at?
You know what I'm
Where's
talking
that
about.
at?
They
Oh,
send
I'm looking over here like, where did it go? I ain't seen none of it.
You don't want to shill these toys. And I'd like to use this. No.
Right.
It is, but you know,
Thank you for my green drink, you know.
You could do something.
I have done the green drinks before, and I will do. I reserve the right to do a sponsorship.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say nothing about that. It just, as soon as I get one in the inbox, I like that product, y'all getting sold. So y'all gonna have a coupon code out here. Let's click it and use it.
I had my first offer recently.
See,
as long
congratulations.
As they don't silence you or change your content, I think that's where the problems come in.
I had my first offer. I believe they were small. I kind of just glanced over it because sometimes I will just glance over things and then I'll double back afterwards and read it through. But my mind tells me when it's ready to take stuff in, so I listen.
That's right. No, I think you're such a good example of that too. Just like listening and leaning into the sort of like intuitive, you know, whatever you want to call it, spiritual. Some people would call it different things. Words don't usually have the ability to encompass what you're really saying. Right. But like, you know, that like leaning into that, like you said, your brain tells you when it's time to take the information in and it comes in when it needs to. And I'm just really grateful and appreciative that you're like out here, like being an example to all of us. And I think you're a really good leader. And I appreciate that you haven't allowed these horrible things to turn you into someone who's bitter. Like you have so much grace and I don't know, just like elegance. Like I think you're a good role model and I'm really inspired by you.
Well, thank you. Well, then listen, my future, somebody asked me what the future holds.
Yes.
I run from the pulpit. I've had a calling to the pulpit for a long time. And I think I'm marching forward to that.
There you go.
Yes.
You're an orator. We already said it.
Yeah.
You orate and you kind of
inspirational too. Like I just want to, tell me what it says. You know, I want to tell me.
Write like 5 more books. Write 5 more books. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, author.
Shot in the Dark Part 2.
Prophet,
you know what I'm saying?
poet.
I also am a children's author. That was my first book called Nirvana Socks, The Nirvana Chronicles, on Amazon and where you buy books. But shameless self-promotion again. But I am going to go on a speaking tour, and I really want to talk to like groups and churches and stuff like that about my faith journey, because all in all, you know, it has this salacious aspect to it, but I think it's bigger than that. It's really about my obedience and I think
it's your testimony. You know, it could have went about a lot of different ways for you, and look at you.
Yeah, I went to theology school because I had questions that nobody could answer after stuff, and unfortunately, the pandemic happened and it shifted how we went to school and all that stuff. So I didn't finish, but I certainly believe that I got what I was supposed to get. And God's, like grandmother said, people will come from far and wide to hear me speak, her and her friends. So I truly believe this is the time now.
They're hearing you right now from far and wide. You know, we got however many countries in the chat. I want to give Pascal and Mims the opportunity to plug your channels, say where people can find you, if you want them to go to your Instagram where you're different or not. I don't know, maybe that's a little too small.
No. I'm very upfront. I didn't even have Instagram before I had YouTube. People have tried to manage me. It has not worked out in the past, but I did just take my first meeting with some people who do endorsements, but their endorsements would be like for therapists or things like that, things that I would feel comfortable endorsing after I spoke to somebody and determined if it's something that I would endorse. or you know, I
I
work
know
out.
anybody over here, if y'all are endorsing it, I believe I might buy it, or
Yeah.
use it or try it.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna make it make sense on YouTube. Make it make sense now on Instagram. I am nearing my 200K mark. It is crazy to
Let's make it make sense of 200,000 before the new year.
That is my goal. But more than that, and more than plugging myself, I want to say I have watched all of you guys, including Popcorn Planet. I appreciate what you guys do because I don't watch everybody and I can't. Just in all honesty, I can't because I don't have time. Now, a lot of my stuff, I'm on the phone all the time with attorneys, survivors, and now my therapist to make sure that I'm not like,
Losing your
everybody.
marbles.
So I'll end with this. I appreciate all you guys, and my phone is blowing up. I'm pretty sure yours will be blowing up too. All of us after this. I would say to you, the dopest nerd, hang out with your daughter. Do not be online. Do not go into the weeds. I'm sure if you follow the chat, you know what's happening, and don't go to the weeds. Give it no life, because give it no life, and I'll just leave it at that.
Indeed.
Agreed. That's great advice.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Pascal?
Yeah. Sup?
Just, final thoughts. We're wrapping it up. I'm just giving y'all the floor to say, how can people follow you? What are your final thoughts? Anything, like whatever, floor is yours kind of thing.
Sure. Okay, so you can find me on the Pascal Show on YouTube. Pascal Show on all platforms, so Facebook, Twitter or X, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all those platforms, so you can follow me on any of those things if you please.
And the microphone and voice sounds just as good across all platforms.
That's what they need to endorse. They need to give you a microphone endorsement.
Sure, get the man a sponsorship immediately.
Let me get a microphone. Short needs to call me. How's that?
Hey man, there it is. I would click the link into 10% on that one for sure.
I appreciate it. But yeah, so so you can find me on all those things. I've been watching all y'all's stuff for a minute. And of course, always appreciate everybody's work. That's the thing. I think if everyone keeps to the facts, keeps truthful, tries to be respectful as much as possible, because it's not our fight. We're here to help with the fight. Not make it about ourselves. Does that make sense? We're here to tell the story, right? Tell the story, tell the side for the victims and the witnesses, accusers, etc. And give them a platform. Sorry, what were you saying?
Don't become the story. I'm agreeing with you. Don't become the story.
Yeah, don't become the story. Damn right, Mims. Damn right. You see what I'm saying?
I do my best to try and not to.
If you're going to interrupt what I'm saying, Mims, that you're going to say something with facts. All right. So I'm glad that it came with facts.
Was.
Damn. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. But that's absolutely right. Okay. I appreciate you agree with me. Thank God. Whew. Anyway. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I think. I really, really truthfully believe that we should be. See, this is okay. Let me just say this really quick. This is why I love the fact that the prosecution and the defense are doing this back and forth with all this paperwork, because that's where it's getting all really juicy. Now, don't get me wrong. People coming forward and speaking their stories and speaking their truths is one thing. Yeah. But there's always something to talk about because of the BS that's going on between the defense and prosecution. And then the more that Diddy keeps on screwing up, and prosecution catches him screwing up, oh man, you can't even write that stuff. It is just too damn good, right?
Well, they can, and they are, and we're reading it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, we are reading it like I'm reading it like with every come together. Let's go read this stuff. I know, Mims, you do that too. Okay, I know we all do that to a certain extent, but it's just so juicy, and it's the most real talk. The paperwork, usually the documents are supposed to be boring as. You see what I'm saying? But it's
supposed to be, but it's whenever it's these high profile cases, precedential, cutting edge. That's what I consider to be my wheelhouse. I consider that to be my lane. reading the documents, explaining it to the people, and how we talk out here outside of like courtroom talk. And like now it's like I'm having opportunities little by little to speak with people who were there. You know, I feel so honored to do that. And I do feel a little bit of a shift. Like Mims was saying, like now he's on the phone all day with lawyers and survivors. And it's like that's important work. It has to happen. Someone's got to do it.
That's incredible.
But really it's incredible. Like, you know, it's a different job than just reading a court document. And it's a different level of involvement and proximity and all of that.
I didn't know what you were talking about, Mims, but somebody just texted me and said,
Don't
some crazy accusations against you from Lionel B channel, which is bizarre.
Don't just...
First of all, I'm a woman of God. I listen, I am for this fight. I am a big girl and I got on my big girl panties. For 25 years, I've slayed giants bigger than this. What they're saying, I will go into the fray and watch it. But what I know is whenever you are rising above the enemy's attempt to kill, conquer, and destroy, the first thing they try to do is come for your character. I'm not the one or the two. You come against me, you come against God, and trust and believe. You better have a sling and a stone big enough to handle God. Your arms is way too short to box.
You know, 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked.
Right.
Facts.
So also, I'm just going to say, like, thank God we're all... Oh, go ahead, Mims. Go. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'll say it.
Please.
One of... somebody in the orbit was like, did you watch BJ Investigates? She did this really in-depth, it was an in-depth think piece on some letter that you found from the 80s where people were talking about how
the hip hop, the meeting that changed the hip hop industry forever.
And that was somebody in the orbit. So your voice is amplifying.
Well, that's good. I'm
you
just
are being
like,
heard.
that's another public record somebody sent to me. Gene Deal called me Law Princess one time. I think I need to put that on a plaque. I want to make myself a trophy because he called me Law Princess on YouTube. And I'm like, I definitely call myself the queen of YouTube, but now I'm Law Princess because Gene Deal said it. I mean, I don't know if he's credible or not. We've never really spoken or anything, but I kind of felt like, oh God, like the people that I'm talking about are watching my stuff now. Like, Nathaniel, you were saying, you know, I'm sorry, I never heard of this. Leah, I wrote her name down. Gordon, Leah Gordon. And she said, you know, I never talk to anybody that I make stuff about because they're all past. They're no longer with us. I mean, I've made things like that as well, but like I make stuff about high profile individuals for the most part that I never speak to. And it is emotional to hear somebody like, I remember I met Bam Margera and he was in tears. You know, why did you help me? Like, what, are you making a lot of money? And I was like, no, I'm losing money. Your guardian sued me for defamation. I'm literally negative money. And he's like, so why did you do it? And I was like, because it was the right thing. And I know that you were being taken advantage of by the system that took your right. I know what happened. And I saw it happen before. It's a pattern. I've seen it happen. And he was just like so thankful. And it made me feel emotional because it's like a lot of times we don't get to talk to people we make stories about. And for good reason, because sometimes you become the story if you do that. You know, it's like, you know, all that. But I'm just so thankful that we're all here. And I can tell you that I would rather the vibes over here, or if we could do this on y'all's channel, I'm happy to go on anybody's channel if y'all, you know, would have me. I don't know if you have
doors
like,
always open
at your house over there or whatever, but you know, I'm willing. And I'm happy to just keep the, you know, good vibes as much as possible, keep the levity and not venture too much into the, you know,
the mucky muck.
I wasn't going to say that, but that's the exact word. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you said it.
Indeed.
I'll be in the mug tomorrow. I'm not going to lie.
Look, and I'll be in the chat.
I'll be in the mug tomorrow.
I'll be in the chat.
It's been days of work that I've done, but I will be empathetic to victims, but I'm gonna give both sides. So that's happening. And it.
You mean like with the factual comparisons?
Yes. That's happening. But with a empathetic approach to all.
Sure.
I had to do some soul searching before I decided to do that. I do have to run.
Yeah, we're going. We're leaving.
I appreciate all of you guys. Pascal, if I ever need some voiceovers, I'm going directly to you, buddy.
I call dibs on you reading a copyright disclaimer at the beginning. I need your voice on one of those for the beginning of my BJ Investigates video. This video is fair use under the.
I'm not
or this video will get striked if you.
On that note,
no reactions are allowed with watching this video or something.
Everybody can react to my stuff if y'all want to. That's
Good.
fine.
Good.
Okay, well that's all we really had for today, everybody. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, Mina K. Bye.
Bye.